A very good Thursday morning to you from all here at ITV1. Now, Gmtv.
There are new fears for Lady Thatcher's health as she spends the night in hospital. Good morning, this is the News Hour on Gmtv.
Yes, it's 6 o'clock on Thursday, the 8th of December, 2005.
On the programme this morning, her days of decimating the opposition at the dispatch box have been over for years, but now there are new fears over the health of Lady Thatcher after she was taken ill last night. More in a minute.
There's a glimmer of hope this morning for the British hostage Norman Kember after Gmtv reported that the group holding him have extended the deadline for his execution by 48 hours.
And bashed by Benfica, Manchester United have crashed out of Europe after a 2-1 defeat. We'll be asking how long manager Sir Alex Ferguson has left in his job. Should he go? Text us your views, 81189. Email us gm.tv.
Pretty damp in my neck of the woods this morning, Penny. How should I get rid of the waterbed, Claire? Yeah.
Maybe you should actually, John, yes, because it frees up this winter.
Yes.
Sprung a leak. Hello, good morning. Well, it's not going to be frosty for the next few nights. It's going to be fairly mild. We're seeing some patchy rain this morning, a bit damp in places like John's house. And it is going to brighten up from the west through the day. That's good news if you want a little bit of winter sunshine, because it is going to happen. A slow process, though, and some parts, particularly in the southeast, may just find that cloud lingering on. Temperatures around 7 Celsius. Tomorrow, wet and windy weather comes in. But for the weekend, it's not looking too bad at all, actually, because we'll see some dry weather. And as I said, it's going to be relatively mild. I'll be back in 25 minutes. Penny.
Claire, thanks very much. Lady Thatcher is said to be comfortable after spending the night in hospital. The 80-year-old former Prime Minister complained of feeling faint during a visit to the hairdressers. She was taken to the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital, and Richard Gaisford is there. Richard, any more details emerging?
Well, we have heard, Penny, that Lady Thatcher was sitting up talking to people overnight, so things can't be too bad. As you say, she was at the hairdressers yesterday afternoon, having that famous hairstyle seen to. Felt faint. The bodyguards brought her here to the hospital on the Fulham Road, and they've decided to run a few tests overnight just to see if there is anything wrong, but a spokesman from the Conservative Party says that they're pretty hopeful that everything is okay and that Lady Thatcher will be allowed to go home a little later this morning. Now, of course, her health hasn't been in the best shape over the last few years. Just under 4 years ago, she suffered a series of minor strokes, was told to cut back on her public engagements to stop the high-profile speaking tours that she was involved with. And then in 2003, very sadly, her husband, Sir Dennis, passed away. And we are told that that affected her very much indeed. And that really also took a toll on her health. Of course, in more recent years, she's had to go through the trials and tribulations of life with her son, Mark. He's had his own troubles down in South Africa and is now divorced and living apart from his children. So plenty on her plate and plenty for her to deal with. But back in October, she did celebrate her 80th birthday and did so in style. A huge gala birthday party. Then the Queen came along, the Duke of Edinburgh, the Prime Minister, lots of other luminaries as well. And she was seen to be there, perhaps not in the best state of health, but certainly very bright and very sparky still. Of course, more lately, she's been quite excited, we're told, by watching the final of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of There. Her daughter, Carol Thatcher, winning that one. So we'll watch the doors here at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital on the Fulham Road all morning, and we do hope very much to see Lady Thatcher walking out and going home a little later.
Richard, thanks very much.
Let's catch up on the rest of the news. Here's Amanda.
John, thank you. Good morning. The Foreign Secretary Jack Straw has renewed calls for the British hostage Norman Kember to be freed after his kidnappers extended their deadline for his execution. The group, which sees Mr. Kember and 3 other Christian peace activists in Iraq, had threatened to kill them today. That deadline was extended to Saturday after terrorist suspect Abu Qatada made a televised appeal for mercy from his prison cell in Yorkshire. American air marshals have been defending their decision to shoot dead a man who tried to flee from a plane in Miami. U.S. citizen Rigoberto Alpizar had earlier claimed to have a bomb on board the flight. A woman with him reportedly told the authorities he'd failed to take medicine for a mental illness. It's the first time since the September the 11th attacks that a federal air marshal has shot a passenger. Now, there's been a second appeal by police for the mother of the twin babies left in a box outside a Birmingham hospital to come forward. They're worried she could have an infection needing urgent medical attention. Rachel Harrison is at the Heartlands Hospital. Good morning, Rachel. No sign of the baby's mother so far, despite the publicity.
Absolutely, and staff here are incredibly worried. It's now been 48 hours and they've not had word from the mother at all. That's why they released the pictures yesterday of the two babies being cared for here at the hospital. Both of them, Holly and Joseph, are still being cared for in incubators. They're being fed by drips, although we understand that Joseph was allowed to have a little milk yesterday. Staff have taken them out for a little bit of a cuddle and say they're both doing incredibly well, are bright and alert. But the fact that the mother hasn't come forward is concerning them. They do actually believe she could be very poorly indeed and may be suffering from an infection, which means she could be suffering from flu-like symptoms. They say it's urgent they contact them and they'll do everything they can to help and support her. But as I say, time has ticked by now, and if she doesn't come forward, plans are already being looked at as to what will happen to the children when they are ready to leave this hospital. They will actually go into social services, and I've been told that they'll try and find them a foster family. They'll try and keep the twins together, but that really is the worst case scenario for staff and the police. They are hoping that the mother will still, at this late stage, come forward.
Rachel, many thanks. Beatles fans around the world are today marking the 25th anniversary of the murder of John Lennon. The singer was shot outside his Manhattan home by Mark Chapman, who was then jailed for life. Later today, a vigil will be held in New York and white balloons will be released in his memory in his home city of Liverpool. It's a great British institution, but it seems the much-loved red double-decker bus has finally come to the end of the road. It'll be disappearing from busy commuter routes in the capital tomorrow. Here's Denise Gravel.
It's become one of the iconic symbols of Britain. The Route Master, as it's known, is used by thousands of people every day. They first hit the streets back in 1956 and were considered revolutionary for their ability to negotiate the capital's crowded streets. Now they've been condemned as expensive antiques which don't comply with European rules on safety and accessibility. But many will be sad to see them go.
Very upset really, we've just been running for so long, since the very year I was born, and it's just very sad.
I'm first time here, but history is all the time very important.
It's what you expect to see in London, you know, the rear entrance buses, it's just an icon.
Some buses will continue to run on the so-called heritage routes, but from tomorrow you're more likely to see one in a trinket shop than threading through the traffic.
Denise Gravel reporting there. The time is now 7 minutes past 6. I'm back at 6:30. Here's Penny and John.
Yes, instead we have those buses which seem to go on for half a mile.
Well, no one pays on.
Yes, yes.
Long buses with a bit in the middle. Yeah. Traffic nightmare.
Let's have a look at the newspapers this morning. The Times, terrorist suspect pleads from jail for British hostages' life. That's the terrorist suspect Abu Qatada. The Independent has that picture there. War criminals. This is after Maya Evans, 25, was convicted for reading out the names of 97 British soldiers killed in Iraq at an unauthorised protest, and that was because it was within, I think it's half a mile of Westminster or a mile of Westminster, and then it's got the other two as well. The Guardian has a story saying that Syria is ready to reopen Israel peace talks, trying to head off UN sanctions, and the Daily Telegraph, that Prime Minister's questions you with the future once. That's what David Cameron said to Tony Blair in the debut clash yesterday.
Yep, and the rest concentrate on Maggie Thatcher. That's the front page of the Daily Express this morning. Story written by their political correspondent Kirsty Walker. Daily Mirror, heart scare Thatcher, 999 dash to hospital. Same story they lead on there. And in the Sun, another story that we featured yesterday and again this morning. You just heard about it. The little twins found in that box in Birmingham, at the hospital in Birmingham. And the Daily Mail pointing out that it took 14 Metropolitan Police officers to arrest the woman who was protesting outside Downing Street about, or the House of Parliament, about the war dead in Iraq.
Time is 9 minutes past 6. It's a distressing degenerative disease that affects 750,000 people in Britain. Later today, a host of celebrities and campaigners will descend on Downing Street calling for dementia drugs to remain available on the NHS. They'll also deliver 2,000 of these small cards. Each carries an "I don't want to forget" message from relatives of Alzheimer's sufferers. That particular one reads, "The day I first saw my wife before I even knew her name." The next one, "My son Daniel buying me a gift with his own money for the first time, a plastic horse." In a moment I'll be speaking to Clive Evers from the Alzheimer's Society, but first some of the people whose lives have been touched by the disease.
It's just crept up on me, and I suppose I've just accepted it.
If somebody dies, you've lost them, and that's terrible, and you can grieve, but every day you're with somebody that you love and they're not there.
My father was a commander in the Royal Navy, and he died of Alzheimer's at the age of 58. If he'd have had one of these, or any of these dementia drugs at the time, he might have actually had an extra 5 years with my mother.
At the moment, I'm getting a little bit worse on Alzheimer's.
I can't understand, with the best will in the world, if something works for people and is proven to be working, why would they do this for the sake of £2.50 a day?
We're still alive, and I think that's probably the best thing that's around, you know.
Sad stories. Clive Evers from the Alzheimer's Society joins me now. Good morning to you. So you're handing in these hands-off dementia drugs. I don't want to forget these memory cards. First of all, explain why these drugs could be taken off the NHS.
The National Institute of Clinical Excellence, despite 5 years ago saying that these drugs were effective and they should be prescribed on the NHS, has reviewed the evidence earlier this year, and this time they've said, although they're clinically effective, they work, but they say they are not cost effective, and that is the major issue that we have with them. We challenge the way that they've assessed the cost effectiveness. We think that the process, their measurement, their assessment techniques are severely faulty, and they have not listened to the weight of evidence of people with dementia and carers that we have had about the value and the usefulness of these drugs and medications.
And you've got a lot of celebrity support. I mean, hardly surprising, I suppose, when you look at the figures for Alzheimer's, for dementia.
That's right. We're talking about a major health condition here. Over 750,000 people affected. In the UK, 1 in 5 of the over 80s may be affected. Almost every family, every street in the land will be touched by this condition.
And I hadn't also realised that it does affect people who can be very young.
Yes, that's right. Younger people with dementia we regard as below the age of 65. And although there are now some services for this group of people, they are often neglected and forgotten about, and we need to campaign hard for them too.
And can we do anything to reduce the chances of us getting dementia?
There are now many, if you like, public health messages around vascular disease, and there's evidence to show that if we can reduce the incidence of vascular disease like heart disease and stroke, then we can very likely reduce the incidence of Alzheimer's disease as well. So, you know, good messages are around eating fruit, vegetables, green vegetables, and even some good messages about a moderate amount of alcohol. Red wine is seen to be good, some good evidence there, not too much.
As usual, everything in moderation. Clive Evers, thank you very much, and good luck with the campaign this morning. And if you want more information on Alzheimer's, you can log on to the website, the address gm.tv.
Time now 30 minutes past 6. It was a bitter end. Manchester United dumped out of the Champions League and indeed Europe last night after a 2-1 defeat at the hands of Benfica. This is the moment millions of United fans saw their worst nightmare come true. Well, joining us now from Manchester, our old pal Lou Mackay. Lou, good to see you. Sad night for you and all United fans, really.
Disastrous group it was for them, John. When the draw was made, you looked at Villarreal, Benfica and Lille and thought, yeah, they're certain to get through in that group. At the very worst, finished second. But the group has been a disaster for them, and last night was obviously the final game in the group. So much hint.
You can't say that United deserve to win, can you?
Oh no, not on the night. I felt it 1-0, John. I thought they would be full of confidence, going to win the game comfortably, and for some reason, I don't know what that reason was, Benfica came into the game and I thought controlled it from then onwards. And when you look at the teams in the group, that's the most disappointing thing, because United should have been top of that group without a doubt and finished bottom.
Sure, and looking at the shots of Fergie on the touchline and seeing him in the press conference afterwards, clearly not a happy bunny. Question is, how much pressure will this put on him to perhaps resign at some stage, anyway, if not immediately?
Well, I've just had a look at the back pages of the morning papers, John, and most of the journalists are actually calling for that. And You know, I like Alex. I think he's fantastic. And he's been there 20 years and he's done a great job. And I think the big problem, John, is I don't see anyone at this moment in time capable of coming in and doing as well as Sir Alex has done over that period of time. But of course, you stand or fall by your results at this moment in time. And last night's result was an absolute disaster for him. And I think that was highlighted by the pictures we're seeing now.
Yeah. And actually, we're getting texts in this morning saying exactly that as well, Lou. One from Tom in Sussex saying Ferguson's era has come to an end, but he's made a great contribution to British football. We should thank him. We need new blood in charge now, and I guess that won't be a lone voice amongst the United fans, will it?
No, unfortunately it won't be, John, but it's getting tougher and tougher. I mean, I think the days of people like the Neville brothers and Scholes and Gicker last night, they just strolled through it and got through into the next stage.
The other issue, of course, is how much this is going to cost the club. The Glazer brothers budgeted on United reaching the last 16, as I understand it. They're not obviously going to do that now. They're not even going to be in the UEFA Cup because they're bottom of their group. A lot of dosh they've lost, isn't it?
It is, John, but now it's maybe a big good time for them to back their manager. I mean, Sir Alex will stay at the helm at least to the end of the season. I personally hoping he continues longer, but this is an opportunity for the Glazers to come in, give them some money, give them the opportunity to rebuild the side and see where we go from there. But, of course, at this moment in time, everyone's calling for Sir Alex's head.
Yeah. OK, Luke, well, thanks very much, Dee, for your contribution. We'd like to hear your views at home on this story. Should Sir Alex Ferguson hang up his boots? Well, I did that a long time ago, actually. But should he actually quit as manager or carry on in his quest to rebuild United, possibly with a bit of help from the Glazer brothers, as Lou was saying there? Text as usual, number 81189, or email us gm.tv.
You're watching the News Hour on GMTV. This morning's headlines. Lady Thatcher's undergone tests after being kept in hospital overnight, complaining of feeling faint. Doctors hope she'll be well enough to go home this morning.
An investigation is underway after air marshals in Miami shot a man dead. He claimed he'd taken a bomb on board an American Airlines plane.
And John Lennon fans are marking the 25th anniversary of his murder with a series of events and tributes around the world. Now, she was famously known as the Iron Lady during her 11 years in power as Britain's first woman Prime Minister. Margaret Thatcher's constitution was legendary. She could reputedly survive on just 4 hours sleep a night, but it never showed at the dispatch box.
People pay more under Labour for poorer services and for spending on things they don't want, and under Conservative councils they cost you less and they provide a better service.
That was obviously 1983 as opposed to 93. This morning, though, the health of Baroness Thatcher, now 80, is very different. She was admitted to hospital yesterday, as you just heard in the news headlines, after feeling faint. Well, joining us now, the Daily Mail's political columnist, Quentin Letts. Good morning to you. I mean,
good morning.
She has been looking frail for some time.
Oh, I don't know, actually. I saw her in the House of Lords the other day, and she looked terrific. I mean, she's a lady of 80. And undoubtedly, you know, she has a certain frailty about her, as people do at that age. But she looks fantastically well presented, and her hair is always an amazing creation to behold. And I look at it from above, of course, and I tell you, there isn't a flaw in it. So it's interesting that she was at the hairdresser yesterday when she was taken ill, but let's hope she gets better.
Advised by doctors not to make any more public speeches, and then, of course, insisted on her 80th birthday at making them.
Like trying to cap Vesuvius. I mean, not even Red Adair could have stopped Maggie Thatcher from talking. And yes, she has undoubtedly pulled back on quite a lot of her public engagements in recent years. But, you know, you would expect that to happen. And she is, I think, amazingly alert and well presented for a woman of her age.
And perhaps more resilient than we think, because after all, last year she went to America.
Yeah, she went to Ronald Reagan's funeral last
exactly.
year, and she also had a big birthday party recently where the Queen arrived. So to go to events like that funeral takes quite a lot out of you, I guess. But
its toll on her health. In more recent years, she's had the trials and tribulations of her son Mark to deal with. Of course, he was embroiled in a rather interesting court battle down in South Africa. And, you know, generally, it's thought that she hasn't been quite as well as one would have hoped, perhaps. However, it has to be said, on her 80th birthday in October, she was sparky and sharp. The Queen attended a party, so did the Prime Minister and a host of other luminaries. And just recently, she's been quite excited, apparently, about the final of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, when her daughter Carol won that particular programme. So we'll be watching the doors, John, just to see if she does come out this morning. And that is generally the message we're getting at the moment.
Richard, thanks very much indeed.
27 minutes to 7. Let's get over to the news desk now, and Amanda.
Penny, thank you. Good morning. The Foreign Secretary Jack Straw has renewed his calls for the British hostage Norman Kember to be freed. New video was released yesterday showing Mr Kemba and 3 other hostages shackled and dressed in orange jumpsuits. The group holding them had threatened to kill them today, but that deadline was extended to Saturday after terror suspect Abu Qatada made a televised appeal for mercy from his prison cell in Yorkshire. 4 men are due in court today charged with a plot to detonate bombs on London's transport system on July the 21st, 2 weeks after suicide bombers killed 52 people in similar attacks. Police accuse them of trying to set off bombs on 3 underground trains and a bus, but their devices failed to detonate. A 5th man has been charged with conspiracy. Now, they were once the most feared and powerful football team in the world, but last night's humiliating exit in the first round of the Champions League has left Manchester United in crisis. The 2-1 defeat is the latest in a growing list of problems in what's increasingly becoming a turbulent year for United. Matt Arnold is at Old Trafford. Morning, Matt.
The scarves and tributes to George Best have now been respectfully cleared away here on the pavement outside the ground. Sir Alex Ferguson had hoped that the wave of nostalgia and emotion surrounding his death would be enough to inspire his team to win last night and qualify for the second stage of the Champions League after Christmas, like they normally do. As the squad arrived back at Manchester Airport this morning, the despondency was obvious. United, it said, now lose £15 million in revenue from their early exit. That could affect future transfer spending. The manager's job surely will come under fierce media attention as his team return to a domestic season chasing Chelsea. It's Everton at home next up for United on Sunday. The Glazer family will surely have a critical eye on developments here now as they look to turn a profit from their huge investment. Finishing bottom of Group D means there's not even a UEFA Cup spot. Last night could be a defining moment in the history of the club and its manager.
Matt Arnold reporting. The Albert Hall in London was transformed into a winter wonderland last night for the long-awaited premiere of the children's classic Narnia. Michael Underwood went along to feel the magic.
Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall attended last night's royal world premiere of the Chronicles of Narnia, which saw the Royal Albert Hall turned into a winter wonderland. The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is the first of 7 Narnia books written by C.S. Lewis and stars the cream of British talent, including Jim Broadbent, Ray Winston and Tilda Swinton, who relished working with the children on the film.
They're exceptional children, as you know, and they were able to stay really fresh and excited all the time.
One of those young stars is 10-year-old Georgie Henley, who was overwhelmed by the whole occasion, but had an interesting way of dealing with nerves.
Before I go into something which is a bit nerve-wracking, I scream really loudly, and then it kind of like vents it out.
Narnia's the most expensive fantasy film ever made, but with King Kong swinging into town in just 7 days' time, who's going to win the battle of the blockbusters? One thing's for sure, whatever happens, the next Chronicle of Narnia, Prince Caspian, is definitely going ahead. Michael Underwood, GMTV News, the Royal Albert Hall.
The time is now 6:36. Our next news bulletin is at 7. Now here's what's happening where you are this morning.
Good morning, welcome to the breakfast news from ITV Granada. Manchester United are out of Europe. For the first time in 10 years, they've failed to make it through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. They arrived back in Manchester a short time ago after losing 2-1 to Benfica last night and crashed out of the competition. It means United will miss out on up to £15 million in revenue, which could affect future transfer spending. There was not even the consolation of a UEFA Cup place as United finished bottom of Group D.
Sometimes in football, that when you get low moments like this, it's a big challenge to rise above it, and we've always done it at our club. And I'm confident this club, this team will improve. And the rest of the season is going to be a challenge for us now.
And our reporter Mike Hall will have an exclusive report on Manchester United's disastrous night in Portugal tonight on Granada Reports at 6. Special events are taking place across the world to mark the 25th anniversary of John Lennon's death. The focus will be on his home city of Liverpool, where ceremonies will be held throughout the day. Caroline Wareham reports.
This was how Liverpool remembered John Lennon in the aftermath of his death. The former Beatle was shot dead by Mark Chapman outside his New York apartment in 1980. 25 years on, and a shrine will today be opened at the Lennon statue in Matthew Street, where his fans will lay flowers in his memory. His most loyal supporters will also gather at the Albert Dock for a special ceremony.
Hundreds of balloons will be released into the sky with messages from all over the world and from Liverpool, from fans and friends and well-wishers for John Lennon.
It's hoped today will be a fitting tribute to Liverpool's most famous son.
An investigation into a collision involving two planes at Manchester Airport has found that human error was to blame. The accident happened last November when the wing of a Boeing 767 caught the tail of a 737 waiting to take off. Misjudgment by the captain on board the 767's been blamed. That's it for now. I'm back at 7:05. Time now for a look at the region's weather.
Pantene Pro V Winter Rescue. Forecasting a great hair day, whatever the weather.
It'll be a cloudy start with some light outbreaks of rain. It'll turn much drier and brighter by lunchtime with a lovely dry and bright afternoon. Highs of 8 Celsius, 46 Fahrenheit, but it will feel chilly.
Welcome back to the News Hour. It's being reported this morning on Arabic TV that the group holding British aid worker Norman Kember have extended their deadline for killing him by 48 hours. They had originally planned to murder him today. The move comes after a radical cleric being held in a British prison urged his kidnappers to free Mr. Kember and 3 other Westerners being held in line with the Islamic principle of mercy, was the quote attributed to him. Well, overnight, a new video of Mr. Kember has been released. We're not showing you that, at least for the time being. I'm joined now by Bruce Kent, Vice Chairman of CND and a friend of Mr. Kember, and Middle East expert Hazia Tamurian. Very good morning to you both. Bruce, do you draw much comfort from this statement saying the deadline's been extended?
Well, I do, because it shows that the British government is showing some flexibility. Otherwise, it's unprecedented that someone in high detention can make a video. And that's something, because these kidnappers, I think, apart from all the appeals, have got to have something to save face. And I think maybe there's something behind the scenes. So he's alive, and there's still hope.
Yeah, it's interesting, this video. I mean, I've never heard of this before, someone in prison making a video, obviously with government approval. Why do you think he's done it? Why do you think they've done it? Is there a deal going on here, Hazir?
I suspect something is going on. I feel embarrassed about it. It's like putting pedophiles on television, asking others to be merciful and to call each other brothers. This is a most awful man. This man has been saying that all non-Muslims ought to be massacred legally. Either they have to submit to the rule of Islam or to convert to Islam. This man ought not to be on British television.
Well, do you share that horror?
Not at all, I'm afraid. Whatever kind of villain he is, Norman Kember is a very nice, decent bloke and ought not to be under this. And anything that can be done to help him, I think, is fine with me.
What do you say to that, Hazir?
Well, I feel that Mr. Kember is, to put it very kindly, an eccentric who's stretching the resources of the British...
doesn't say he's not worthy of our sympathy, though, does it?
No, you ought to do everything, but I think you ought to also keep the dignity of the country in mind, as also you ought to think of what precedent this might set us for the future.
Yeah, that's I suppose, is a concern for anyone, any government, any authority in this position.
We've always had negotiations. Even with the IRA, there were negotiations when they said that there wouldn't be negotiations. Mr. Kember is not an eccentric. He's a very balanced man, a senior physicist, a doctor, and he's only one of 120 people who've been out on the same operation unharmed in Baghdad. So it's not some jumping off a skyscraper kind of risk taker.
Yeah. We have these pictures released overnight of Mr. Kember in an orange suit. I mean, one has to say it does bring horrible echoes of
It
Mr.
was
Bigley.
predictable, John, wasn't it?
What do you think that means?
I mean, Mr. Kember would have known that Al-Qaeda hates Christians, and he went there as a Christian, and he was showing Christianity in a good light. He was really provoking them, in a way.
What do you
Well, I don't think how can one know what's in the mind of these people? But many people have done this, have been there without being apprehended in this way. And he knew there was a risk, but I think it's important for any religious person to show brotherhood and forgiveness and reconciliation, and I think that's what they were doing.
I mean, this is an ordeal for anyone, but for a man of his age, even more so. How do you think he'd be responding to this, holding up to this?
He's a strong chap. I've met him many times on outdoor activities, and he's never flinched at all in whatever the weather. He's resilient. He's got a good little sense of humour. So insofar as anybody can put up with this awfulness, and I include his wife in this, I think that he will come out reasonably well.
Well, let's hope he does. Hazia and Bruce, thank you both very much indeed.
6:43, you're watching the News Hour on Gmtv. Manchester United fans across the world are depressed, to say the least, this morning after their team crashed out of Europe last night, defeated 2-1 by Portuguese team Benfica. The squad and Sir Alex arrived back late last night with, understandably, not much to say.
Sir Alex, might it be possible to have a quick word for GMTV? I appreciate it's a bad night for you. Just trying to really get an idea of the atmosphere amongst the players on your way back.
Sorry, my friend, I must speak, okay?
Off the pitch, what exactly will last night's defeat cost Manchester United financially? How damaged will Brand United be by the team's exit from Europe? Joined now from our Birmingham studio by football academic Professor Ellis Cashmore. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So how much do you think this early exit from Europe will hurt them in the pocket?
Well, it obviously depends how far they would have progressed in the European Championship. If they'd have got through the next hurdle, that would have been about £3 million to them. If they'd have gone all the way to the final, on the other hand, it would have earned them an additional £20 million. And that's, I say additional, they've already earned £11 million from the competition. The problem is, of course, that they haven't even qualified for the UEFA Cup, which would have been a kind of a fallback position, which would have earned them about £3 million per leg. So if they'd have gone through the first round and then the second round, you know, it would have accumulated. But a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's already debt-laden anyway.
Well, it is, and it isn't. I mean, Manchester United is actually the only profitable football club in the entire Premier League at the moment, and obviously the Glazers knew that when they took it over. They're not fools, these people, remember. They didn't buy Manchester United on the assumption that it was going to win every championship in sight. But as part of their business plan, they did assume that Manchester United would progress beyond the group stage of the European Champions Cup every year.
And Man United looking for a new sponsor because Vodafone left them early. What do you make of that?
Well, I think we're seeing a club in decline, aren't we, really? I mean, Manchester United's decade was the 90s and the early 21st century, but we've seen signs that the cracks are appearing of late. And, of course, Chelsea's ascent really has hurt Manchester United. I mean, it was a peerless world leader in terms of sports brand, but I don't think they can claim to be in that position any longer. I think they've probably been overtaken by the likes of Real Madrid, Ferrari, and probably one or two American franchises in addition.
And it does seem that money speaks, as you said, Chelsea in the top all the time at the moment. Do you think that'll mean the Glazers will pump in more money?
No, I don't. They've got a completely different business orientation. Roman Abramovich treats Chelsea as a kind of charitable foundation. They lose £120 million a year, and he just says, take it out of the petty cash, you know, top up the resources. Manchester United, on the other hand, are run as a business, and of course Malcolm Glazer wanted to make money out of the club. It becomes difficult to see how he's going to do it in the foreseeable future.
Do you think it'll cost Alex's job?
I think there's going to be a lot of pressure. I would think that they'll let him leave at the end of the season. That will at least enable him to retain some dignity.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning, Professor Ellis. And Manchester United, a club in decline. Text us your view, 81189. Email us, gm.tv.
Time now, 6:47. Very good morning to you if you're just joining us. Now, sadly on this programme, we're often talking about bullying at school, but this morning it's workplace bullies. We're highlighting 18-year-old Hannah Kirkham took her own life following a vicious campaign of bullying at the KFC outlet where she worked. An inquest heard she was stabbed in the arm with corn sticks, verbally abused and threatened with death by some of her colleagues. In a moment, we'll be talking to Hannah's mum, Marie, as well as to Hugh Robertson from the TUC. But first, here are just some of the entries in Hannah's diary of despair.
He hit me with a brush and began drawing and marking my face and arms with permanent marker. They began messing around, then he called me a failure. I confronted him again with the ultimatum of either they leave or I do. I was deeply upset by this and asked why he said it. He came back and said, "You're so thick. What do you have, a tumour for a brain?"
Well, deeply, deeply distressing stuff, as you can hear and see. Hannah's mum, Marie, joins us along with Hugh Robertson from the TUC. It's a horrific story. Thanks very much, Dee, for coming in to talk about it. I know you've come in because you don't want this sort of thing to happen to anyone else.
That's correct.
You had the inquest. Was the inquest the ordeal you imagined, or was it slightly cathartic in some way, helpful in a way?
It was helpful, but it was also a lot worse than I'd anticipated.
I mean, it's hard to imagine the sort of people who would do this, isn't it? I mean, they threatened her with death, they threatened to rape her. Had you any idea that this was going
on? I had been told about certain bits of horseplay, as they've been quoted as, but no, we had no idea at all until Hannah told us in June 2003.
By which time, really, it was too late?
It was too late, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, had you noticed a change in her demeanour?
I had noticed a change in her. But being my eldest daughter, I didn't really have anything else to base it on. Different behavioural patterns, overeating, obviously binge eating, then not eating, going to bed in the early hours of the morning, different things.
But none of these
nothing.
things. Yeah, and you wouldn't have ascribed any of those to bullying, would
no.
you? And of course, all this was going on, as we said, this KFC outlet in the Manchester area. KFC have issued a statement following this inquest, and let me just tell you what they've got to say. Hannah's death was a tragedy. She worked for us on 2 occasions, both times, says the statement, both times for about a year. She stopped working in the restaurant 6 months before her death. We have since worked with Hannah's parents and the Andrea Adams Trust, which is an independent charity committed to tackling bullying and harassment in the workplace. With their help, we've strengthened our internal process and also set up a confidential employee hotline. None of the staff implicated are with the company anymore. That'll be a relief to many people to hear that. We don't know whether they were disciplined, and we do know they were never charged. What are your feelings about that aspect of this whole affair?
Well, obviously I do know what's gone on, and I do know that it was myself that brought the police in. Unfortunately, prosecutions were not able to go ahead due to the Crown prosecution. Regarding the individuals, I've never been told actually what happened, whether they were reprimanded. Yeah. I don't know that side of things.
Would you like to? Would you have wished them to be? Or does it not matter in the great scheme of things to you?
No, it doesn't actually.
No, because nothing can replace what you've lost.
No.
It's a terrible story, you. I mean, awful, awful, dreadful story, but it does highlight an issue that often gets forgotten. I mean, we talk about bullying in schools, as I said. We don't often talk about bullying in the workplace, but it goes on a lot, doesn't it?
Yes, I really wish this was an isolated incident, but sadly it's not. There's about 2 million people are bullied within the last 6 months at any one time. That's a huge number.
How do we know that?
Because we ask people. There are several surveys. There are 3 particular ones that have been done within the last year, and they've all come out with the same figure of between 1 in 10 and 1 in 12 people report they have been bullied to some extent. Now, obviously, it can vary the extent. Sometimes it's just being yelled at occasionally. Sometimes it's being ignored by their staff. Occasionally it does reach the levels it did in Hannah's case.
And are companies doing enough to try to prevent it? I mean, it's a difficult thing to detect and deal with, but are they doing all they can, in your view?
No, they're not. I mean, the fact that a big company like KFC didn't already have an anti-bully policy shows that, in actual fact, companies are just not doing enough. Every company should have a bullying policy before an incident arises, so that all managers are trained, all staff know about it, they know what they can do, and that staff can have confidence that if they do complain, it will be dealt with fairly. And often it's the person who's bullied who's actually moved, and not the actual bully. And that is part of the tragedy. It's people in power who usually do bullying because of their own inadequacies. People who are managers who shouldn't be managers, who just can't cope. As a result, they take it out on the staff they work with. And this was a tragic case of people actually bullying someone because of their own inadequacies.
Absolutely. And we're very, very grateful to you, particularly, Marie, for coming in to talk about it, because I can see and I fully understand how upsetting it must be. But thank you very much, Dee. Let's hope that you're highlighting it does prevent it happening, to some degree anyway, in the workplace in future. And if you need more advice on how to tackle bullying at the workplace, log on to our website, gm.tv.
It's 8 minutes to 7. You're watching the news hour here on GMTV. Now, if you're anything like me, you'll like spiders. My brother had a sweet little Mexican red-kneed tarantula called Sophie. But I understand that not everyone loves them, and in fact, arachnophobia is one of the top phobias in Britain. Jackie Cabler joins us now from Llanelli in Carmarthenshire with a hairy tail of a tarantula under the floorboards. Jackie.
Good morning, Penny. I'm with you. I quite like spiders, but loose in this house is a spider which would put fear into almost anybody. I've come prepared, and if you think this net's a bit big to catch a spider, bear in mind that the spider that's been seen here is the size of a CD. It's been seen 3 times. It's been described like a ball of wool scuttling around the house. Look over here, we've got traps. These are locusts, poor locusts, sitting there waiting to be eaten by the monster. The cupboards are all taped up. It's been seen in this room twice already, and the occupants are pretty frightened. There's another locust trap there. And let's go down the stairs. We're being very vigilant this morning. I'm keeping my eyes peeled just in case we see it running around. So far we've been lucky and we haven't seen it. Let me get rid of that. Now, I'm going to introduce you to the occupants. These boots are the closest you're going to get to Jan, the lady of the house, because she's moved out. She's too frightened to stay here. And let's go in here. This is Wayne, whose bedroom that was. Wayne is now sleeping on the sofa with a tennis racket to bash the spider in case it appears. And over here we've got the man who's trying to catch it. This is Garrett Hopkins, who's a reptile expert. Now let me talk to you first, Wayne, because you were in bed and you had a very frightening experience.
Yeah, that's right. I was watching TV. It was late that night. It was pitch black, and the next thing, I noticed this thing just jump across the TV screen in front of my face.
Oh, sorry, nothing. It's okay, it's okay. Yeah, go on.
I didn't have the slightest idea what it was. But when I turned the lights on, to my amazement, I found that what looked to be a tarantula in my bedroom. The next thing I knew was my girlfriend getting up and screaming and running out of the bed.
Oh my goodness. Well, the man who's hopefully going to catch it is over here. Now you've got a dead one here. This is what we think it might look like.
Yeah, I think it could be a bird eater. This is a shed skin of a bird eater.
We've no idea where it's come from.
No idea. Well, I think it's come from this street somewhere. I think somebody in this street has owned it, and when we've asked, they won't admit.
These are the locusts that we're trying to catch with. You want to catch it alive.
Yeah, I don't want it dead because you know, I'm an animal lover. I love animals, and I don't want nothing to happen to the spider even. But unfortunately, if we can't, because of Mrs. Price's bad heart,
she's got a bad heart. Yeah,
we've got to catch it pretty quick. So.
Okay, we're going to be here on the spider hunt with these two all morning. We will see you about 8:30. Hopefully by then we might have caught it. Back to you,
Jackie. Thank you very much. Fiona and Ben next. That's it from us.
See you soon.
GMTV weather, sponsored by Tops Tiles, brightening homes, whatever the weather.
Hello, good morning. Well, under all that cloud is actually a map of the UK. It's cloudy out there today and will remain so through the morning, but through the afternoon you could see some brighter spells. We're seeing 1 or 2 brighter spells just emerging now as the sun rises in the next hour across more western parts, the West Country as well as Northern Ireland. There's a little bit of rain around as well where the cloud is thick, particularly across Wales, the West Country, western parts of the Midlands, as well as the border region. But you can see the cloud is thinner up to the north there, and that's where we're seeing a little bit of brightness from time to time. The brighter skies will gradually merge with the cloud through the day. That means, I think, an improving picture as we head through the afternoon. Remaining rather cloudy on the western side of Scotland. That's because more cloud coming in later. It's going to bring some rain overnight. But for central and eastern areas of Scotland, that's where we'll be seeing some brighter skies, even some sunshine from time to time. Northern Ireland then, of course, that cloud there through the afternoon, but for the border regions, not too bad at all. I think you'll see some brighter weather as we head through the day, a similar scenario for northern counties of England, as well as much of Wales, the Midlands, and also East Anglia. But down in the southeast, that's where we hang on to the cloud through the afternoon, perhaps even the odd spot of rain across Hampshire, as well as the Isle of Wight, Dorset, Somerset, but down towards the West Country, particularly Devon, seeing some sunshine from time to time, although the clouds remaining across the far southwest. This is a picture for tomorrow, wet and windy weather for Scotland. Frosty conditions early on across England and Wales, where temperatures dipping below freezing. But then as we head through the weekend, scenario is for cloud and damp weather across Scotland, Northern Ireland, Northern England, but further south it's looking a little better. Here's your summary. For your in-depth local outlook, visit our website, or for a 10-day forecast, call GMTV's Weatherline on 0905 514 0000.
King Kong arrives in Britain. As the film premieres here, we meet the man behind the ape. Good morning. You're watching GMTV today.
You are. It's a King Kong day here on GMTV, and it's almost 7 o'clock Thursday, the 8th of December 2005.
Get your shoes on. Here's an ape man. That's what you're hearing, yes. Hanging out in the background. The man himself. We're celebrating King Kong on King Kong Day, and Andy Serkis is going to be here.
Yes, he is, because it's the British premiere tonight. He was only in New York at the beginning of the week, so he's going to be tired. Andy Serkis is joining us, and we'll be looking at the making of one of the greatest films ever, and this version really is brilliant.
Also this morning, what's the secret of the perfect roast potato?
Chef Jean-Christophe Novelli sparked a huge row when he told us yesterday not to parboil. What's he talking about? He's here to defend his cooking methods in 20 minutes. I have to say, he is looking rather delicious himself. Most edible.
Yes.
Do email us with your views, by the way, gm.tv, text us 81189. And in the interest of research, I did some myself last night.
You did some potatoes?
Yeah.
Have you brought them in?
Didn't parboil them. No, I ate them all. They were lovely, actually. But...
And they weren't parboiled?
They weren't parboiled.
But they were lovely?
They were lovely, but not as good as if you parboil and shake them around a bit.
But you didn't parboil them, and they were lovely, and you ate them all?
And I ate them all, but they weren't as good as if I had parboiled them and given them a bit of a roughing up.
Shouldn't you have done one of the other and one of, you know, proper taste
No,
test?
because I remember the roughed up ones well
Right.
enough. The taste still lingers.
Are you sure? You can't remember what month it is? Anyway, we're going to...
I do know who you are, though.
Good.
Nice
We're gonna do that later on. Jean-Christophe is coming in. We're going to have some properly parboiled potatoes and Jean-Christophe's roast potatoes, and we'll be finding out which one actually is the best. On the news front, though, Coronation Street star Sally Lindsay's going to be telling us why she's backing a campaign to keep drugs for Alzheimer's sufferers on the NHS. We've got all that to come, but first, here's Penny with the news.
Thanks very much. Good morning. The headlines today. Lady Thatcher undergoes tests after being admitted to hospital. American air marshals defend their shooting of a bomb hoaxer. And just 9 days after giving birth, Penny Lancaster is back in shape. Lady Thatcher is said to be comfortable after spending the night in hospital. The 80-year-old former Prime Minister complained of feeling faint during a visit to the hairdressers. She was taken to the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. Richard Gatesford is there. Richard, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Penny. Well, we have been told Lady Thatcher's been sitting up talking to people, so things can't be too bad. As you say, she was at the hairdresser's just up the road yesterday afternoon when she felt slightly faint. Her bodyguards brought her down to the Fulham Road here to the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. Now, it is thought that maybe she's in one of the cardiac care units, the coronary care units, perhaps having some tests done just as a precautionary measure. A spokesman from the Conservative Party says that everything they think is okay, and they're hoping doctors will release her a little later this morning. Now, Lady Thatcher's health hasn't been great over the last few years. 4 years or so ago, she suffered a series of minor strokes, and that's when doctors told her to cut back her public speaking engagements and things like that. And then, of course, in 2003, her husband Dennis died. She took that rather badly, and recently she's had to deal with the trials and tribulations surrounding her son Mark. She did celebrate her 80th birthday, though, in style back in October with a big gala party, and of course she's been very excited recently to learn that her daughter Carol has won ITV's I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. But we'll keep an eye on the doors, Penny, and hopefully we'll see her come out a little later this morning.
Richard, thank you very much. The Foreign Secretary, Jack Straw, has renewed his calls for the British hostage Norman Kember to be freed. New video was released yesterday showing Mr. Kember and 3 other hostages shackled and dressed in orange jumpsuits. The group holding them had threatened to kill them today, but that deadline was extended to Saturday after terrorist suspect Abu Qatada made a televised appeal for mercy from his prison cell in Yorkshire. American air marshals have been defending their decision to shoot dead a man who tried to flee from a plane in Miami. US citizen Rigoberto Alpizar had claimed to have a bomb on board the flight. A woman with him reportedly told the authorities he'd failed to take medication for a mental illness. They were once the most feared and powerful football team in the world, but last night's humiliating exit in the first round of the Champions League has left Manchester United in crisis. The 2-1 defeat is the latest in a growing list of problems in what's increasingly becoming a turbulent year for United. Matt Arnold is at Old Trafford.
The scarves and tributes to George Best have now been respectfully cleared away here on the pavement outside the ground. Sir Alex Ferguson had hoped that the wave of nostalgia and emotion surrounding his death would be enough to inspire his team to win last night and qualify for the second stage of the Champions League after Christmas, like they normally do. As the squad arrived back at Manchester Airport this morning, the despondency was obvious. United, it said, now lose £15 million in revenue from their early exit. That could affect future transfer spending. The manager's job surely will come under fierce media attention as his team return to a domestic season chasing Chelsea. It's Everton at home next up for United on Sunday. The Glazer family will surely have a critical eye on developments here now as they look to turn a profit from their huge investment. Finishing bottom of Group D means there's not even a UEFA Cup spot. Last night could be a defining moment in the history of the club and its manager.
Matt, thank you. Now, apparently we start our Christmas shopping earlier every year, but a new survey says that we are still buying each other useless, unwanted presents. Anna Thomas reports.
You know the kind of gifts, the ones you label charity shop before you've even got the wrapping off, the ones that make you think, does this person know me at all? And believe me, some of you have bought some real horrors.
One year my husband bought me a tax disc.
The absolute worst present I ever had was an actual lump of coal.
A vacuum cleaner.
I think it was a plastic frog that drowned itself in the bath.
6 cans of Grausch for a Secret Santa present.
Halt scented candles, please. Can't bear them.
I just buy my own and just get the money. It's much better.
According to a nationwide survey, aunts, uncles and work colleagues are the worst offenders when it comes to leaving shocking presents under the tree. So how can we avoid giving gifts that go straight in the bin?
Come out with a definite list and then you won't get so sidetracked, because you've got to keep it simple. At the end of the day, if you start thinking too broad a picture, you'll get confused.
And remember, you've now got just 17 days to get it right.
All wrong again. Finally, new mum Penny Lancaster is back in model shape just 9 days after giving birth to her first child with singer Rod Stewart. Svelte Penny showed no signs of a tummy as she stepped out last night in a little black dress. Rod may have once sung about baby Jane, but the proud parents opted for the more masculine name of Alistair Wallace Stewart for the new baby. And let's face it, Jane would be a bit odd for a boy. 6 minutes past 7, I'm back at 8. Here are Fiona and Ben.
Thank you very much, Penny. So the big debate this morning is over how to cook the perfect roast potatoes. Yesterday, Jean-Christophe Novelli told us to not parboil them first, but many of you begged to differ.
Yes, especially me, especially after cooking my non-parboiled ones last night.
Which you enjoyed, which you said were lovely, and you ate them all.
There's sort of because you haven't roughed them up or boiled them, it forms, I can't explain, there's a sort of air pocket that forms and the top sort of blows up a bit. Mine did anyway. No, it's very odd, and inside they're really, really soft, but then, and they're not crispy enough around the outside.
Okay.
And they're too perfectly shaped.
Oh, you like the sort of the rough edges of these parboiled?
Yeah, and that's what gives it the crisp, roughing them around a bit.
Okay.
Do you cook a roast potato occasionally?
I've eaten many. I can't actually say I've ever tried to cook one. The wife does some cracking roasties, but she doesn't like that. She parboils them for sure.
Yeah.
So because she likes all the rough bits and the all crispy bits.
That's exactly what gives you the crisp. When they're not parboiled,
doesn't that make them more fattening?
Yes, lovely.
Ah.
More surface area for all the delicious. Please do let us know how you cook your potatoes. Do email us gm.tv or text us 81189. And a real treat for you, whether you like them parboiled or not, Jean-Christophe Novelli is being served up on a plate for you in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to find out what's happening where you are now.
Good morning. Welcome to the breakfast news from ITV Granada. Manchester United are out of Europe. For the first time in 10 years, they failed to make it through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. They arrived back in Manchester a short time ago after losing 2-1 to Benfica last night and crashed out of the competition. It means United will miss out on up to £15 million in revenue, which could affect future transfer spending. There wasn't even the consolation of a UEFA Cup place as United finished bottom of Group D.
Sometimes in football, that when you get low moments like this, it's a big challenge to rise above it, and we've always done it at our club. And I'm confident this club, this team will improve. And the rest of the season is going to be a challenge for us now.
And our reporter Mike Hall was with the team last night and will have an exclusive report on United's disastrous night in Portugal on Granada Reports at 6. Special events are taking place across the world to mark the 25th anniversary of John Lennon's death. The focus will be on his home city of Liverpool, where ceremonies will be held throughout the day. Caroline Wareham reports.
This was how Liverpool remembered John Lennon in the aftermath of his death. The former Beatle was shot dead by Mark Chapman outside his New York apartment in 1980. 25 years on, and a shrine will today be opened at the Lennon statue in Matthew Street, where his fans will lay flowers in his memory. His most loyal supporters will also gather at the Albert Dock for a special ceremony.
Hundreds of balloons will be released into the sky with messages from all over the world and from Liverpool, from fans and friends and well-wishers for John Lennon.
It's hoped today will be a fitting tribute to Liverpool's most famous son.
An investigation into a collision involving two planes at Manchester Airport has found that human error was to blame. The accident happened last November when the wing of a Boeing 767 caught the tail of a 737 waiting to take off. Misjudgment by the captain on board the 767 has been blamed. That's it for now. I'm back at 8:05. Time now for a look at the region's weather.
Pantene Pro V Winter Rescue. Forecasting a great hair day, whatever the weather.
It'll be a cloudy start with some light outbreaks of rain. It'll turn much drier and brighter by lunchtime and will be a nice dry and bright afternoon. Highs of 8 Celsius, 46 Fahrenheit.
It's 11 minutes past 7. We're talking about Alzheimer's now because sufferers of this terrible disease have a real fight in their hands to get the drugs they need. Later today, a group of celebrities will be delivering 2,000 of these cards to Downing Street. These each carry a message from relatives of Alzheimer's sufferers. In a moment, we're going to be talking to Coronation Street actress Sally Lindsay, who unfortunately lost her gran to the disease. But first, here's some of those people whose lives have been touched by Alzheimer's.
It's just crept up on me and I suppose I've just accepted it.
If somebody dies, you've lost them, and that's terrible, and you can grieve. But every day you're with somebody that you love, and they're not there.
My father was a commander in the Royal Navy, and he died of Alzheimer's at the age of 58. If you'd have had one of these or any of these dementia drugs at the time, he might have actually had an extra 5 years with my mother.
At the moment, I'm getting a little bit worse on Alzheimer's.
I can't understand, with the best will in the world, if something works for people and is proven to be working, why would they do this for the sake of £2.50 a day?
We're still alive, and I think that's probably the best thing that's around, you know.
Very moving accounts there, and these cards are basically messages from Alzheimer's sufferers and also from people, family members of Alzheimer's sufferers, which they'd like to appeal to the government about these drugs. I just want to read some of them out to you because they are really, really moving. This is from one lady. I don't want to forget. The idea is not forgetting a memory. I don't want to forget when my 4-year-old daughter telling her friend, you know, my grandma's lost her memory and she won't find it again. Her grandma was in her 50s. And this one is, I don't want to forget when my husband was asked to write a sentence after saying he couldn't, and he wrote, I love my wife. And then this one, I don't want to forget my mother who had dementia happily singing away to a CD while we were driving along the A4, encouraging other motorists and pedestrians to join in. Really, really wonderful memories, and somebody who I'm sure can identify with that is Coronation Street star Sally Lindsay, whose gran suffered from Alzheimer's. She's going to be joining us in just a minute from Manchester. Of course, this is a really, really important issue that we want to know what you guys think, of course, because back home there's plenty of you that will have an experience of Alzheimer's. You can text us to 81183, or you can email us, gm.tv. I think Sally is in the studio in Manchester. There she is. Can you hear me, Sally?
Just about, sorry.
You managed to get in there. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Just tell us what sort of impact your grand's Alzheimer's had on you, Sally, and your family.
Well, it's debilitating because this amazing woman, you know, contracts this disease, which kills your brain very, very slowly, and it's very frustrating for them. And I wouldn't wish my worst enemy through what my gran went through, and I was very close to her. And anything we can do to sort of combat this disease, I will be at the forefront of.
And how dramatic was your grandmother's decline, Sally? Did it just creep up on her, or did it suddenly go very quickly?
Well, it creeps up on you. You really don't know it's happening. It comes up from behind, and they start doing quite strange things, and you just think, oh well, never mind. And then all of a sudden, they're like a child again, and frustrated and angry because they don't understand what's happening to them. It's almost like somebody going into your head and turning everything upside down, and everything you've ever known is different. You know, they don't recognise family members. They think they're other family members. It's horrible.
And how are you hoping to persuade the government that it's important that they keep these drugs available on the NHS, Sally?
Well, my thoughts are, because we've got an ageing population, I think it's right and proper to look after people with Alzheimer's, because to give them a chance and to give them a little bit more time, because this is going to be a problem that we'll have to face the longer and the more time goes on. People are getting older, so this is why I think it's good for the government to keep these drugs on, these key drugs on anyway.
Yeah, and of course Coronation Street is tackling the very problem at the moment with Mike Baldwin's character. Are you pleased that it's being highlighted in this way?
I actually didn't know till quite recently, and I'm absolutely ecstatic about that, because Johnny Briggs is such a fantastic actor anyway. He's doing it so well, and obviously it doesn't mean anything to anyone else in the cast, but well, I'm sure it does, but you know, some of the scenes he does are so poignant, it's quite difficult to watch really. But, and I'm really glad they chose a character like Mike Baldwin, because he's so vibrant and so such an icon.
Yeah.
It just shows that it can happen to anybody. It's not just frail little old ladies rocking in chairs it happens to. It's amazing, fantastic people it happened to, as in my gran.
Yeah, sure. He has, you said, he's always been such a charismatic personality as well, hasn't he, Mike Baldwin? It's obviously going to be interesting for us to watch as well. Good luck today. Let's hope that your campaign has some effect for the government. So. And thank you very much for making it just into the studio in time.
Just in time.
It's good to speak to you.
OK, bye.
Right, the time's 16 minutes past 7 now, which means it's competition time. Your chance to win £10,000 courtesy of Mr. Tony Blackburn.
Good morning and welcome to my guide of Christmas number ones. Well, exactly 5 years ago, a novelty record came out aiming to top the charts. But what was it, and why am I in a Builder's Merchants? And that's right, Bob the Builder was number one on the 2000th birthday of baby Jesus. Well, somebody must have bought it, mustn't they? Come on, own up, who bought it? Well, they've got a lot of taste, haven't they? And you can buy all the novelty records you like with today's prize, £10,000. For your chance to get your hands on the cash, answer this question. What was the name of the band that performed with Cliff Richard? Was it A, The Darkness, B, The Shadows, or C, The Bunnymen?
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
Now, the week before Christmas, Bob beat Eminem to the top spot. And then knocked Westlife down to number 2 to get his Christmas number 1. But he wasn't just a one-hit wonder. He released Mambo number 5 in the summer, and guess what? He got to number 1. Good luck!
Yeah, good luck, and the lines are open until 9 o'clock. Now then, Chef Jean-Christophe Novelli sparked quite a debate yesterday when he insisted that the perfect roast potato should not be part-boiled first.
There's a lot of supporters from you out there. Carol from Glasgow, she doesn't. Sharon Heath, she doesn't. She's with a chef. She lives with a chef. The proper way to roast them is not parboiling them. That's being lazy. Kevin, he doesn't parboil. He covers them in milk to get them nice and crispy. There you go.
That is horrible.
You want Jean-Christophe's
they'd be just burnt around the outside.
Either way, Kevin says they're lovely.
Ugh. Well, anyway, Jean-Christophe Novelli is here in person, as you can see. That'll brighten up your morning, whether you like his spuds or not.
Before that, though, our Frenchman has some cooking tips for vegetarians this Christmas.
If you really want to impress your vegetarian guests this Christmas, my creamy mushroom pancakes will whet their appetites.
And the perfect way of making pancakes without lumps is very simple. Mix your eggs and your flour together and make some kind of a paste. Add your milk very gently, just mix it together and then throw it in a hot pan. And for the filling, I've got a selection of lovely white mushroom. Look at this. I'm going to fry them with my garlic, onion, shallots and mixed herbs. And what you do is to stir fry them for the next few minutes. When they are cooked, leave them on the side to cool off. And then add your cream and your eggs. Add your whole mixture in your pancake mold and then steam them for 12 minutes. The great things about those mushroom pancakes is they go very, very well with seasonal vegetables. That means all your friends who are vegetarians do not feel left out at Christmas.
This Christmas, when you don't have time to hang about, Spa, sponsors of Christoph at Christmas. Gmtv Christmas Lights, sponsored by Clinton Card.
Green Giant, which are always nice with Christmas lunch, actually, a bit of sweet corn.
I like what you did there.
Yeah, we're talking about roast potatoes later on. Jean-Christophe Novelli has sidled in beside us there. Don't care about the potatoes now, frankly. We're looking for Britain's best Christmas lights before we talk to...
Jean-Christophe, yeah, the winner will receive £5,000 and £5,000 for the charity of their choice. Today's finalists are Sandy and Peter George from Morton in Wirral with their neighbours, the Williamses. They've been decorating their house for the last decade and add more and more lights each and every year.
Yeah, and what's more, the family's raised money for Clare House, which is a hospice for teenagers with cancer and other incurable illnesses. That's a lovely display. We really enjoy seeing these. It really does get you in a festive mood, doesn't it?
Absolutely, that's fantastic. The time it must take to put all that together. If you want to send us pictures of your house, log on to gm.tv to enter the competition.
Right, let us continue with the pomme de terre affair. We're talking roast potatoes. Yesterday, Chef Jean-Christophe Novelli told us his way to get the perfect roast potato this Christmas. But I have to say, Jean-Christophe, it caused a bit of a stir.
I know, I just realised it's extraordinary.
Yeah, well, we're going to see what you told us to say yesterday. Here we are.
Don't soak them in water. Keep them with the starch. Add some salt, some pepper, coat them with olive oil. Add your mixed herbs, rosemary, thyme, bay leaves, whatever you choose, and then plunge them in a very hot roasting tray.
Sizzle, I can eat them now. Now, just show us what you... These are the two potatoes we've got here, Jean-Christophe. These are your version.
They are, yes.
Put in hard, peeled, just hard, not soaked or anything. And these are the parboiled version, and sort of shaken around a bit before being put into the roasting pan. And I have to say, they look like school dinner ones.
No, I'm not sure that's strictly... I'm not sure that's strictly fair. I
remember ones like those in school dinners.
My school dinners never look quite as good as that. But why do you not parboil them, Johnston?
Well, I honestly believe everything is about a point, and the point is about taste. I am not against boiling potatoes. I have never said so. I think I'm just.
Thank goodness for that. What's your view on capital punishment?
Do you imagine it's going to be such a stir? The whole idea about potatoes is first, like everything about cooking, you've got to take your time. If you boil the potatoes, it's obviously because you want to gain time. But obviously by boiling, you rid off all the starch and the flavors automatically. When you peel the potatoes and you see on your fingers when they start drying, you see a white substance look, you know? This is what make the crisps of the potatoes. Sorry, the crisps, how do you say that?
The crispiness, yeah.
And the flavor is obviously very intense. Now, what you want is an hot tray. You want to cut your potatoes, mix them with oil, whatever. I use olive oil.
Yeah.
Mixed herbs, and seasoning, very important, and you mix everything on the same level. Then you plunge them, you put them on a very hot tray. And what's happening at that moment is you are actually sealing the potatoes and giving that color. And you're putting that film, which gives the color and also that crispiness. When it's nice and colored, you put them in oven. Therefore, the oven process will cook the inside of the potatoes. And it's very important that by the time you cook your potatoes, you'll have that lovely crunchy texture, and then that soft. I mean, I'm using, it's nothing to do, I mean, somebody said it's the French way, it's the English way. It's not. It's, I'm using actually Stomach King's Edwards potatoes, believe it or not. The same as this one. Look at this. They're too small.
I like them. I'm going to have one.
You like them the bigger size as well?
Yeah, you want the crunch. It's very important. I think it's like everything in life. You want something out of it. These potatoes, they've got fantastic color, whoever did it, but they're soft outside. Mine has been done last night, by the way. They still remain nice and crunchy. Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, that is crisp on top.
That's quite hard.
But I find when I do them like that, something happens, and something happens there. It bubbles up. It sort of makes a, I don't know, like an air pocket in there. Yeah.
Well, the whole idea is to make sure that you involve the oil completely around the potatoes, which drag all the flavors together. And also equally, the most important thing is when you put them on a ring just before baking them, you have to turn the potatoes around to keep that color. Therefore, it's a very simple process.
Okay, the most important bit though, John Christophe, I'm going to taste these and see which I think is better.
Sure.
Light and fluffy, not very crunchy, but very nice.
Thank you, Ben.
This is yours. Wow.
Is it crunchy?
Well,
is it not? What? Hang on.
They're both delicious. These have been a lot more seasoned though, so that the taste is more interesting. But that, I do like the way that's done.
I'm quite, thank you. You make me come so early to hear something like this.
That is delicious, actually.
It's very important.
Can I give you a quick tip before, as we're debating boil or not boil? It doesn't matter. Do it your way, but I think that's the way. Now, if you can do in the same time, on the same process in your baking tray, put some
onions.
Onions kept in a skin, shallots and garlic. And by
Stop, I hate to stop you, but your baking time is up.
That's it.
The alarm's gone off on your
Happy Christmas.
time up.
Happy Christmas.
It's really lovely to see you.
you.
Thank you very much. And your potatoes were delicious.
They are delicious, actually. Yes, very delicious. Do keep letting us know what you think. Which ones would you like best? 81189, or you can email us gm.tv.
Gordon Ramsay suggests the shaking around bit, surprisingly enough.
I'm sure he likes shaking about.
Exactly.
He does like shaking about. Let's get the weather. Here's Claire.
Gmtv weather, sponsored by Tops Tiles, brightening homes, whatever the weather.
Oh, those roasted onions look very nice indeed. Hello, good morning. It's time for some warm grub because it's a bit damp outside, it's a bit murky and a little bit chilly, but not as chilly as it will be tonight, where we are expecting a frost. But today we're seeing a lot of cloud and also some damp weather, some brighter skies coming in across Northern Ireland, perhaps some parts of Scotland through the morning into the afternoon, and then cloud thickening later on. For Scotland today then, that's where the cloud will be later as it thickens from the west. But generally speaking, there's going to be a lot of bright, sunny weather. Temperature struggling 6 or 7 Celsius, even so, some winter sunshine. For Northern Ireland down here, again, thickening cloud later, bringing some rain overnight. But for the border region as well as northern counties of England, the Isle of Man, seeing that bright weather right the way through the afternoon, 6 or 7 again, so struggling with those temperatures. For the bulk of Wales, again, it's going to be a better afternoon in the morning as the cloud breaks, and the cloud will break up across the Midland region as well as East Anglia. Down in the southeast, though, not the story. Sadly here, I think the cloud could stick, particularly south of London, places such as Kent, Surrey, Sussex, as well as Hampshire, where there could be the odd spot or two of rain, particularly the Isle of Wight to the coastal districts. Also a similar scenario for Somerset down towards northern parts of Devon. Brighter weather coming in from time to time across the West Country, but hanging on to that cloud across the Channel Islands as well as Cornwall. Here again the odd spot or two of rain. Tonight that cloud increases across the northern half of the country. Further south, that's the risk where we will see some frost from time to time, but the weekend's not looking too bad at all. Mostly settled, damp in the north, dry in the south. Here's your summary. For your in-depth local outlook, visit our website, or for a 10-day forecast, call GMTV's Weatherline on 0905 514 0000.
28 minutes to 8, the headlines you're waking up to this Thursday morning. Lady Thatcher has undergone tests after being kept in hospital overnight. She'd complained of feeling... He claimed he'd taken a bomb on board an American Airlines plane.
28 minutes to 8 is the time now. Well, he's been on the back benches since resigning as Conservative leader 4 years ago now. But William Hague is back. He's the new Shadow Foreign Secretary, and he joins us for his first interview since taking the job. It is nice to see you back, I have to say. Congratulations. Are you happy about the job?
Yes, I am. Yes, it should be a fascinating job, and I thought it was right to, excuse me, out of practice here, I thought it was right to help David Cameron. I think he's got such fantastic potential as the leader of the party, but I think it deserves a team around him.
Help is the key word there, though, isn't it? He needs the help. Is that why he has so many experienced politicians in his lineup, such as you, such as Ken Clarke, such as Ian Duncan Smith, such as Francis Maude, load of old has-beens, or as I say, maybe the voices of experience? He needs it, doesn't he?
Well, exactly. You can call us has-beens, exactly, and there may be something in that. But we also do have that experience, and I know I would have given a lot when I was leader of the party to have somebody sitting with me who'd been leader of the party in a similar situation before. And so I hope I can help in that sort of way. But it's also a coming together of the whole Conservative family, if you like, because this time we really have to get our act together and give the country an alternative government. This time we've really got to do it.
Yeah, and yet we still really don't know what David Cameron has up his sleeve. All the talking he did before being elected leader, all the talking he's done since, hasn't really mentioned much about what he's actually going to do for the country. It seems to be policy less.
Oh, well, I think he's said a lot, but of course what he's done at this stage is set out the broad themes of what he wants to tackle. Of course, there will be, over the months and years to come, a lot of policy announcements, but as you well know, if we announced all our policies now in great detail, they'd all be out of date by the time of the next election, or they would be stolen by the Labour Party in some measure. So I think he's taking the right approach. He knows that what we have to do is to show that the Conservative Party is changing and is electable again, and get people to listen to us again before we go into the most detailed explanations of what we will do. I think that's the right approach.
But you haven't changed that much since May, have you? And David Cameron was one of the main architects of your election manifesto in May, which the country rejected. So what have you got to offer us a few months on?
Well, funnily enough, I think we have changed quite a lot since May. I think David's election shows that. I think the party has taken a long, cool look at itself over the last 6 months and decided it really did need to move a generation, to move to a different kind of leader, and to take some fairly radical action. For instance, I think we will see more radical action on ensuring there are many more women Tory MPs in future than anything that
there's none in the shadow cabinet, is there, so far?
Well, hang on, we've only started the appointment of the shadow cabinet. The rest of the shadow cabinet will be appointed, I think, during the course of today. So I think you will see some women appointed.
The top tier of the shadow cabinet, though, has gone to men. I'm sure you'll agree.
Well, it has, but that's because we need those women to come up through the ranks, and that's what I'm saying, that I think you see much more action on that in the next year than we've seen for many years in the Conservative Party. So it is changing, actually. It's changing more rapidly than you think. And I think it's also changing in the sense that we will now be able to present a team of people who really could run the country and are the alternative government of the country. And I think we've not always looked like that, despite all our best efforts over the last decade or so.
William, I have to ask you before we go, because we have run out of time, you must have heard about Lady Thatcher being admitted to hospital over the past day. What are your feelings about that?
Well, we're all a bit worried to hear about that, but she is a robust lady in every sense, as we all well know, and so I hope she will recover from that well. I don't have any private information that I can pass on to you this morning, but everybody in the Conservative Party, and I'm sure the country, wishes her well.
And we wish you well too. Nice to see you back.
Thank you very much.
Where you belong. Will we still be seeing you in the News of the World on Sundays, or are you giving up your money-making activities?
That's among the many things I'll have to give up. So this weekend will be my last column in the News of the World, which is one of the sad things about taking on this job.
Yeah, it is. Well, it shows your commitment, I guess. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Now then, it can't have escaped your notice that the new King Kong movie is one of the must-see films this Christmas. The London premiere is tonight, but unable to wait a moment longer, Jackie Brambles has headed to Blackpool to find a Kong of her own. Morning, Jackie. Any luck?
Hi, good morning. Yes, I am at Blackpool Zoo, and that is the bottom you are seeing of Jitu, who is a 22-year-old gorilla in residence. He lives here with his 2 young ladies. Very nice life he's got as well. Of course, King Kong coming out next week on December 16th nationwide. Have a quick look at the making of the movie, and then I'll introduce you to Jitu's trainer.
And lo, the beast looked upon the face of beauty. and beauty stayed his hand. And from that day forward, he was as one dead.
King Kong took New York by storm at its hugely over-the-top premiere this week, attracting the kind of worldwide attention that director Peter Jackson is going to need in order to recoup the $207 million it cost him to make the 3-hour epic. But why did it cost that much to make? Well, biplanes had to be built from scratch, a seafaring ship had to be constructed, 1933 Manhattan was recreated in modern-day Wellington, New Zealand, and the treacherous terrain of the legendary Skull Island was built inside enormous sound stages. Add to that the payroll of the film's stars. Naomi Watts playing aspiring actress Ann Darrow, Oscar winner Adrian Brody as playwright-turned-action hero Jack Driscoll, Jack Black as scurrilous filmmaker Carl Denham, Billy Elliot star Jamie Bell as shipsmate Jimmy, and then of course there's the small matter of the world's most famous gorilla, King Kong. But just who do you get to play the part of the 8th wonder of the world? How about the man who shot to fame playing another fantastical character, Gollum, from Lord of the Rings? After studying gorilla behavior in the wild and at zoos, Andy once again used the amazing technology of motion capture to bring King Kong to life.
I wanted to play everything for real as a character every single time, so that she had something totally real to respond to. And it was an incredibly reciprocal relationship.
Leading lady Naomi Watts breathes a huge sigh of relief upon learning that Andy was her ape. And it was his ceaseless dedication that Naomi feels saved her life on the set.
I could not have done anything without Andy Serkis.
Okay. There we are. He's having his early morning feed. That's Jitu. Natalie Quinton is his keeper. Andy Serkis sort of observed a lot of gorillas in the wild and at zoos, and he said they're very individual. There's no typical behaviour. What's this lad like?
Jitu's actually a really nice gorilla. He's very calm and he's very placid. You can see he's a lovely looking boy. He's very handsome. Some male gorillas can be quite aggressive towards the females, but Jitu's a nice lad. He just wants a nice quiet life, and he's not really got any nasty bits in his personality at all.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, he's great. Really nice boy. Yeah.
Well, I think he's going to be very busy and very popular when this film comes out.
Hopefully,
so,
yeah. Hopefully lots of people come to see the gorillas here. Yeah, it'd be good.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jitu. Carry on as you were.
Thanks. Thanks, Jackie.
Wow.
Oh, I love gorillas, don't you?
Yeah, too much.
And King Kong is excellent. I can see a run on King Kong toys coming up. I got mine a couple of, well, I shouldn't be saying actually, in case one.
Ruining
Anyway,
Christmas for the boys.
let's talk about little Hannah, who is a child of courage. We've been talking to children of courage all this week, and as you can see, that is little Hannah on a visit to see Mary Poppins. That was her little treat from us, and we'll hear all about it after this. Quarter to 8 is the time. Brace yourselves to meet a real little live wire. You're going to meet Hannah in a moment, because all this week we've been making dreams come true for some youngsters who'll be honoured at the Women's Own Children of Courage Awards next week. Today is the turn of 6-year-old Hannah. Oh, I know. I said it a minute ago, didn't I?
Well, I said you.
That's it. And I'm glad you said it, Rebecca. And Hannah had to have her lower arms, as you can see, and her legs amputated after she contracted meningitis. Now, what was your dream? Who did you want to meet? Mary Poppins? Who did you want to meet? Mary Poppins. Exactly. And what did we do? We got you to meet Mary Poppins, didn't we? And here you are, Hannah.
Winds in the east, there's a mist coming in, like something is brewing and bad to begin.
Hello, I'm Hannah, and this is my mum, Rebecca. And we're both excited today because we're going to see Mary Poppins.
A father, a mother, a daughter.
I think she might be in here.
The threads of their lives are all rattling undone.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi, come in.
How are you?
Fine.
So lovely that you came to see me. I've heard that you're coming in to see the show today. Is that right? Have you ever seen it before?
I've seen it on television.
Have you? At the very end, I fly all the way up into the sky.
For magic. For real.
For real? For real? So, Hannah, do you want to come and see the stage?
Yeah.
See where all the magic happens?
Yeah.
Should we go and have a look? Come on then.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Is where you are going to be sitting today when you come and see the show. Hopefully I'll be able to see you when you're somewhere sitting out there. So when I fly out, I can give you a little smile.
What did you like?
I liked all of it.
All of it?
When you fly.
Was that your favourite bit? It was so lovely to meet you. Will you come back and see me again?
Oh, that's so lovely! Was that a brilliant day, Hannah, yeah? What did you like best about it?
How? When she flied.
Yeah. Would you love to do that? Because I know you love your acting, you do your handstands and cartwheels all over the place, don't you?
I like writing and reading.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like those two, because they'll stand you in good stead. Because I know she has big ambitions, doesn't she?
Oh, absolutely. She wants to be a ballerina.
When I grow up.
Yeah, because although Hannah has suffered, as we know, she was 2.5 when she contracted meningitis, and you had to make that awful decision,
That's
didn't you?
not going to stop me being brilliant.
I know it's not, and you're already brilliant. You're already brilliant, and that's such a brilliant attitude to have, Hannah. I think your mummy's very strong, aren't you, Mum? Because you had to make the decision for the surgeons to amputate.
That's right. That's right.
I can't imagine what that must have been like.
It was one of those decisions that you've got no choice. You just have to, it's to sort of, to save her life.
Yeah.
So you just have to just go with what you're advised to do.
Yeah. And I can see she very much has that attitude. She's just grasped life
by
the scruff of
absolutely.
the neck, hasn't she?
Absolutely.
Tell us what you like doing best, Hannah. I know you like your ballet and your reading and your writing, but I know you like kicking a ball around a bit too, don't you?
I don't do it in a house.
No, well, I bet you don't. Does Mummy tell you off? Do you
Yes.
like it sometimes?
No.
Do you pretend you're Thierry Henry sometimes around the house? Because I know you like Arsenal, don't you?
You like Arsenal best?
Yeah.
And how's school? You like school too, yeah? You getting on well now? Yeah, really, I mean, how does it impede on her life? It doesn't seem to, apart from the obvious.
Well, Hannah is incredibly brave.
Yeah.
She just seems to just get on with whatever there is to get on with. And nothing seems to hold her back.
Well, she's gorgeous, and it really is a privilege to meet both of you, Rebecca
It's been nice.
and Hannah. And we'll see you again next Wednesday at the Children
We're
of
both
Courage
looking forward to
Awards.
that.
Yeah, I bet you are. It's lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Now then, Richard Arnold's getting ready to tell us all about tonight's TV, aren't you, Richard?
Oh, hello, morning. I'll be back in just a moment to talk about tonight's top telly, including Walking with Dinosaurs. Come on, Penny, let's go get some fresh air.
Lotus First Pockets with technology, sponsors of TV Pick of the Day.
Now then, Richard's with us, and he's been joined yet again by Hannah, because we didn't give you a chance to say hello, did we, to your friends? So who do you want to say hello to?
My friends.
And?
My brother and my cousin.
Your brother
your cousins
Byron and
as
your
well.
cousins. Do you want to say just hello to camera 4? Say hello.
Hi, Camera 4.
There you go. You did
It's
it.
about time I had a star turn at this time in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah, now
Well
you
done,
can go
Hannah.
off to school and all your friends will know you said hello to them.
You'll be the most popular person at school. Well done. I wish I could say the same after I've been on here.
Yeah, it's not quite.
Nothing but brickbats for me when I leave
We'll
here.
tell you about that later.
We're Walking with Dinosaurs on Auntie Beeb tonight, and it's a cracker. Take a look.
This is Cephalaspis. She's a peaceful grazer who sucks up algae through her jawless mouth. But she's also developed a tough protective head and thick scales. Our ancestors' arthropod enemies have also been evolving, and they're ready for round 2.
There you go, cracking stuff. Look at the overbite on that. They don't make them like that anymore, do they? Doc Martin could well and truly be in the dock tonight because Trigger's wife from Only Fools and Horses, or rather he's Trigger, the actor who plays Trigger, stars in tonight's episode and is Mrs. Not Long for This World. Take a look. There you go. And apparently that's it from me. Do you know, this slot's really getting in the way of my Christmas party.
What about your Christmas present buying?
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Have you done any of that?
No, I haven't started. Every time I
Well,
go out, I keep seeing things for me.
How many godchildren have you got now?
Got the 2. I thought I might get
Oh,
my
just
car this
2,
year. I mean, 2.5. They're old enough, aren't they?
Yeah.
Spoil them.
Cheers, thanks very much, Richard. We're going to get the weather. Here's Claire.
Gmtv weather, sponsored by Tops Tiles, brightening homes, whatever the weather.
Hello, good morning. It's a damp start to the day, particularly across England and Wales. We're seeing the odd spot or 2 of rain. Further north, a little bit of brightness coming through from time to time. Down in the southwest, some brightness. Richard Arnold, please be quiet. It's my slot now. Yes.
No, it's about me.
Back to the weather. Yes, hello. So what's happening across Scotland through this afternoon? Well, it's going to brighten up, particularly across central and western areas where we will see some sunshine, should I say eastern areas. But in the west, that's where we're seeing more in the way of cloud thickening all the while, seeing some rain tomorrow. Northern Isles also seeing some brighter spells. Heading further south across the border regions as well as northern counties of England, it's a case of, well, a good spells of sunshine. If my plunger works. No, it's not working. Oh, it is now. Well done. Everything's a bit slow today. We're seeing some sunshine here, but if I just step out the way, you can see for Northern Ireland, the clouds will be thickening there, and in fact some rain overnight tonight. It means there will be no frost. So good news here. As we head further south across Wales, a better afternoon to come. Also for the Midlands as well as East Anglia, as you can see, 8 Celsius, that's 46 degrees Fahrenheit, hanging on to the cloud across the southeast, perhaps even the odd spot or 2 of rain across the south coast, and down towards the southwest. We're chasing cloud amounts around. Scilly Isles seeing a lot of clouds, as well as the Channel Isles, Devon seeing some brighter weather. Then tonight, watch out for a frost, particularly across southeast Scotland, England and Wales. More cloud then moving in for tomorrow, wet and windy weather, particularly across Scotland, northern counties of England as well as Wales. And for the weekend, well, it's going to be fairly dry across England and Wales, but for more northern counties, sadly a lot of cloud for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Here's your summary. For your in-depth local outlook, visit our website, or for a 10-day forecast, call GMTV's Weatherline on 0905 514 0000.
Well, he's in the building. We better watch out. The man who plays the greatest ape ever joins us as the film premieres in Britain tonight. Morning, everyone. It is lovely to see you. You will be meeting King Kong later on, as will we, on GMTV today.
Yeah, it's just approaching 8 o'clock, Thursday, the 8th of December, 2005.
Really obvious. We're talking about King Kong. It's a monster of a movie, and tonight's the night of the King Kong premiere. And to celebrate, we're calling today, oh, how imaginatively, King Kong Day.
There you go. They had a lot of important meetings about that. Yeah. We're pleased with the title, but it is King Kong Day for a reason. The man himself is going to be here, Andy Serkis, who you may remember as Gollum from Lord of the Rings, doing very similar things to that, motion capture. He's here to tell us in 15 minutes' time why he took on the role of the gorilla.
Yeah, and how he does that, isn't that fascinating?
Absolutely.
Because when he was in the credits when I saw the film at the weekend, I thought, well, how did he play King Kong? And we'll find out later on. Talking about hairy creatures, we're hunting the tarantula, which has forced a mum and son to leave home. And that's because they claim the spider's the size of a saucer, and they say it's on the run in their house. How? Why? We don't know, but we'll have the full story in half an hour.
And on the news front, we asked what would prompt a mother to abandon her newborn baby twins. They've been named Holly and Joseph by hospital staff and are said to be making progress.
8 o'clock is the time now. More on that story later too. Here's the news from Penny.
Thanks very much. Good morning. The headlines today. Lady Thatcher undergoes tests after being admitted to hospital. Iraqi kidnappers release new footage of hostage Norman Kember. And the wait is over for fans of Narnia. Lady Thatcher is said to be comfortable after spending the night in hospital. The 80-year-old former Prime Minister complained of feeling faint during a visit to the hairdressers. She was taken to the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. Richard Gaisford is there. Richard, good morning.
Good morning, Penny. Well, we just heard from the hospital that Lady Thatcher spent a comfortable night here. She has been had a series of tests, and she's waiting for the doctors to come and assess her and those test results. We told it's just a precautionary measure that she was here. She was in the hairdressers just up the road yesterday afternoon, felt a little faint, and her bodyguards brought her here to the hospital, which is where she's been ever since. Her health, of course, hasn't been in the best of states for the last few years. 4 years ago, she suffered a series of minor strokes. That's when doctors told her she had to cut back on all of her public appearances and her long speech tours. In 2003, her husband Dennis sadly passed away, and we're told that took something of a real toll on her health. And in recent years, well, she's had to deal with the trials and tribulations of her son Mark, who's been abroad in some rather interesting stories down in southern Africa. She did celebrate her 80th birthday in style, though. She was there with lots of spark and had a big gala birthday which the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh and the Prime Minister attended. And of course, just recently, she's been quite excited by her daughter Carol winning I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. We're expecting the doctors to come and see her in her room a little later this morning, and then, by all accounts, she should be free to walk out and go home.
Richard, thank you very much. The Foreign Secretary Jack Straw has renewed his calls for the British hostage Norman Kember to be freed. New videos been released showing Mr Kember and 3 other hostages shackled and dressed in orange jumpsuits. The group holding them had threatened to kill them today, but that deadline's been extended to Saturday after terrorist suspect Abu Qatada made a televised appeal for mercy from his prison cell in Yorkshire. Mr Kember's friends say the peace campaigner will be bearing up.
He's a resilient, he's got a good little sense of humour, so insofar as anybody can put up with this awfulness, and I include his wife in this, I think that he will come out reasonably well.
American air marshals have been defending their decision to shoot dead a man who tried to flee from a plane in Miami. US citizen Rigoberto Alpizar had claimed to have a bomb on board the flight. A woman with him reportedly told the authorities he'd failed to take medication for a mental illness. Manchester United boss Sir Alex Ferguson has refused to answer questions about his future after his side was knocked out of Europe 2-1 by Portuguese team Benfica. The team made no comment, awaiting reporters as they returned from Portugal early this morning. United's exit from the Champions League is the latest in a growing list of problems for the troubled club, which have led fans to question Sir Alex's position.
Everybody has the day, and perhaps his day has gone, really.
It's getting inevitable that it's towards the end, I think, now. Just on the last few, definitely his last season, I think, now.
Former Hearsay singer Mylene Klaas has been the victim of a so-called happy slapping attack. It's alleged she had chips thrown at her head and was pushed to the ground by a gang of youths who then tried to take pictures on their mobile phones. Ms. Klaas recently helped front an anti-bullying campaign. Beatles fans around the world are marking the 25th anniversary of the murder of John Lennon today. He was shot outside his Manhattan home by Mark Chapman, who was jailed for life. Later today, a vigil will be held in New York and white balloons will be released in his home city of Liverpool. And finally, the Royal Albert Hall in London was transformed into a winter wonderland last night for the long-awaited premiere of the children's classic Narnia. Michael Underwood went along to feel the magic.
Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall attended last night's Royal World premiere of The Chronicles of Narnia, which saw the Royal Albert Hall turned into a winter wonderland. Relished working with the children on the film.
They're exceptional children, as you know, and they were able to stay really fresh and excited all the time.
One of those young stars is 10-year-old Georgie Henley, who was overwhelmed by the whole occasion, but had an interesting way of dealing with nerves.
Before I go into something which is a bit nerve-wracking, I scream really loudly, and then it kind of like vents it out.
Narnia is the most expensive fantasy film ever made, but with King Kong swinging into town in just 7 days' time, who's going to win the battle of the blockbusters? One thing's for sure, whatever happens, the next Chronicle of Narnia, Prince Caspian, is definitely going ahead. Michael Underwood, GMTV News, the Royal Albert Hall.
We all scream quite loudly before we come on air, but it just still doesn't work. 5 minutes past 8, that's it from me. Here are Ben and Fiona.
Sorry, we're grappling
very
with
focused on King Kong.
Oh, no, this bit doesn't work at all.
That's the on-off button.
No, there was a display button too. Oh, there we go. He is top heavy, bless him.
Hundreds of $1 million to make the film, and we smashed the toy in 2 sets.
That's quite impressive, though. Yeah. Do you know what the director... No, I'm not going to tell you what the director just said, because I was thinking similar thoughts myself. It reminded us of someone, let's just put it that way. Not Penny. I don't know why she was cut off.
We are going to be talking to the man himself, the man who played King Kong, though. Andy Serkis is going to be joining us in about 15 minutes' time.
Yeah, first of all, though, let's find out what's happening where you are.
Good morning, welcome to the breakfast news from ITV Granada. Manchester United are out of Europe. For the first time in 10 years, they failed to make it through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. They arrived back in Manchester a short time ago after losing 2-1 to Benfica last night and crashed out of the competition. It means United will miss out on up to £15 million in revenue, which could affect future transfer spending. There was not even the consolation of a UEFA Cup place, as United finished bottom of Group D.
Sometimes in football, that when you get low moments like this, it's a big challenge to rise above it, and we've always done it at our club. And I'm confident this club, this team will improve. And the rest of the season is going to be a challenge for us now.
And our reporter Mike Hall was with the team last night, and we'll have an exclusive report on United's disastrous night in Portugal on Granada Reports at 6. Special events are taking place across the world to mark the 25th anniversary of John Lennon's death. The focus will be on his home city of Liverpool, where ceremonies will be held throughout the day. Caroline Wareham reports.
This was how Liverpool remembered John Lennon in the aftermath of his death. The former Beatle was shot dead by Mark Chapman outside his New York apartment in 1980. 25 years on, and a shrine will today be opened at the Lennon statue in Matthew Street, where his fans will lay flowers in his memory. His most loyal supporters will also gather at the Albert Dock for a special ceremony.
Hundreds of balloons will be released into the sky with messages from all over the world and from Liverpool, from fans and friends and well-wishers for John Lennon.
It's hoped today will be a fitting tribute to Liverpool's most famous son.
An investigation into a collision involving two planes at Manchester Airport has found that human error was to blame. The accident happened last November when the wing of a Boeing 767 caught the tail of a 737 waiting to take off. Misjudgment by the captain on board the 767 has been blamed. That's it for now. I'm back at 5 to 11. Time now for a look at the region's weather.
Pantene Pro V Winter Rescue. Forecasting a great hair day, whatever the weather.
It'll be a cloudy start with some light outbreaks of rain. It'll turn much drier and brighter by lunchtime with a nice dry and bright afternoon. Highs of 8 Celsius, 46 Fahrenheit.
When it comes to movie premieres, they don't come much bigger than this. Andy is here, who played King Kong. He knows how to make a shot, does Pete, doesn't he?
He certainly does. He's had a few goes at it.
Too right. Tonight is the King Kong premiere in London, and the man who is King Kong, like you've just seen, Andy Serkis, is here. We can't, I mean, the scale of this film, the scale of the project, for you to actually play a gorilla. When initially Peter Jackson turned around and said, Andy, I've got this great idea, what did you think when he said, I want you to be King Kong?
Oh, I mean, I was kind of really excited and at the same time absolutely terrified because, I mean, it's one thing sort of playing a character which has got lots of dialogue and you can, you know, Gollum, you know, and you can bring a CG character to life through his voice and so on. But to actually create a character that is kind of without a vocabulary. I mean, actually, what I discovered that gorillas do have a vocabulary, they have their own lexicon of vocalizations. But it was quite yeah. How do you make that a complex and interesting character? And how do you do the scale? But of course it's Peter Jackson, and all these things will work themselves out.
So how do you do the scale? How did you go about sort of making that real?
Well, I mean, the key aspect of this whole job really was the relationship between Kong and Anne for me, and what Peter wanted to do was to have an actor play Kong, much like he did with Gollum, so that the actress playing Anne Darrow, Naomi Watts, who's phenomenal in this picture,
would not have to imagine Kong there. She's not acting to a tennis ball on a stick, and she could play every single emotion in the film is played for real because it's all about their connectivity. And,
she said she couldn't have done anything without you.
well, it's I mean that's when you're creating a role of this type, it is about the energy and the in-the-moment things that happen between actors. Drama is what happens between actors, not people who are divorced from each other. So we played every single scene on set, and I was raised up on ladders and scissor lifts and things, and we used sound, we used music, and I used this speaker system where I could roar and it would come out of these huge speakers on set, and then I went to the motion capture studio at the end of the whole of the shooting period and reworked all the scenes, recreated them based on Naomi's close-ups.
And you studied gorillas as well, didn't you? You got to go to Rwanda.
Yeah, I mean,
into the hills.
That was an incredible experience. I wanted to very much to when we first started talking about it, to root Kong's behaviour and real gorilla behaviour, his personality to come through. And so I worked at London Zoo, spent a lot of time at London Zoo, and got to know 4 gorillas there. One in particular, Zaire, who I formed a relationship with, and then
she took quite a shine to you, didn't she?
She did it. She did.
When the missus came down.
Yeah, Lorraine came down, and I said, Lorraine, you've got to come see the gorillas. They're fantastic. And Zaire and I, we'd really formed this strong bond. And she came down, and as we were kind of going back to the backstage area, Zaire was kind of watching her, and then she, just as she came around the corner, she got this water bottle and went like that, and it just absolutely splattered Lorraine, and like, what's going on here,
Yeah.
So
they
then
really do have those feelings. I mean, this is a love story between Anne, the character, and King Kong, and it really does work. I found myself falling in love with the creature by the end of it. Yeah.
Gorillas are 97% genetically, the same as us. The only thing that we don't share is the ability to chat. But you can really say. I mean, being up close and personal with gorillas, both in London Zoo and in Rwanda, you really do feel a connectivity with them.
Because I think Jackie's been up in Blackpool all morning, and I think we can have a look at some. And these are the gorillas up there. I think that's G2. There's a gorilla up there. But when you were watching the gorillas, were you sort of mimicking their movement and the way their hands and how they react to each other and all that sort of thing?
Well, I was observing. I mean, at London Zoo, and then when I was out in Rwanda, it was incredible. I was with the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund International and their researchers, and we tracked this group of 23 gorillas, and just there's nothing between you and them, and just seeing how social they are as creatures. They're lying on top of each other, and sort of there's a real hierarchy of how the family.
Do you think they are capable of love? I mean,
absolutely.
Kong coos and smiles and laughs, doesn't he? Do you think are they capable of that?
Absolutely. I mean, there are stories of, like Dian Fossey writes in her book actually, of gorillas who silverback males who slow the group down when one of the females is feeling tired or sick or poor or dying, and and lying down with one in particular who was dying and stayed with her until she passed away. And they're very, very similar emotionally.
Because it's the silverbacks that run the show, isn't it? And you actually got charged by a silverback while you were in Rwanda.
Well, I mean, they were around you all the time, and I mean, I had my video camera, and they'd come up to you, and just out of the bushes, and they'd go bang, and you sort of like, and then there was one particular charge which I did actually drop the video camera because it was sort of but it's all display, it's all just like it's very rare do they actually attack, but it's all they come bowling up at like about 60 miles an hour, and then just when you stop, and you've just got to stay there. Your heart is like going like that.
No way.
But I still don't physically understand how you played Kong, and how did it transfer to the screen?
Well, as I say, the first part of the process is being on set and making the scenes work dramatically and truthfully with Naomi and the other actors in the other scenes, but predominantly with Naomi, and that's the basis of it. And then I went to the motion capture studio and using the techniques of putting on the suit with the dots on and wearing facial markers, because we used facial motion capture to capture his expressions.
Yeah.
And so on. I then played to Naomi's close-ups of the scenes we'd already done. So because there's no dialogue in the scenes, it's all about the moment-to-moment charting through of their emotional journey, And so with these markers track all your muscle movements and particularly the eye movements, so it sort of reflects his personality. And I mean, if I smile, if I smile as a gorilla, then it translates into what is in effect a CG puppet. And then of course Weta and the incredible animators there transfer all that. And
so when you saw it for the first time, when you actually saw the film, how did you feel?
The first time I saw it was just so overwhelming. I had to see. I mean, the thing is with Pete's films, they're so rich and they're so overwhelming to watch the first time. I had to watch it twice before I could really get a sense of it. And the second time was at the premiere, and I was quite thrilled at how Anne and Kong's relationship works, really.
Now, look, there was a huge outcry when you couldn't get nominated for the Best Supporting Actor for Gollum because they thought you were CGI'd. Here you are again. Clearly, people are going to be talking about how incredible you've managed to translate your acting into Kong and give his personality out. Is Peter Jackson ever going to give you a chance to be yourself on camera now?
Well, he does actually in this movie. I get to play a bit of ship's cook, but he comes to a rather grisly end and actually gets devoured by CG. So it's a bit. It's like Pete going, well, there you are. You got this character, but actually I'm going to give you death by CG.
That's how it's going to work. Would you like to do something like that, though, to sort of play a leading man where people can actually say, ah, yes, that's Andy Serkis, as opposed to, I recognise you from somewhere, I can't quite place you.
I never expected to get a romantic lead in a movie, so to play a 24-foot gorilla is fine, you know.
Well, it is. It's an excellent movie. It really is. Everyone's gone on about it being 3 hours, and it just doesn't feel like it.
I think it whizzes by, definitely.
Yeah, it's really lovely. Our interview's whizzed by too. Lovely to see you again, Andy.
Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for coming, and best of luck with it. Enjoy the premiere.
Thank you.
Tonight.
Thanks a lot.
It's going to be huge. If you want to see any previews, photos, and loads more on the film, just log on to the website Gmtv, and there's a festive film guide on there as well.
Now, we're giving you the chance to win £10,000, and how would you feel if you found a spider this big in your house? We're meeting the family who have moved out when the spider moved in. See you soon.
OK, competition time now. Your chance to win £10,000.
Yep, Tony Blackburn's here again.
Good morning. Well, when it comes to Christmas music, you either get a very sentimental song or a cracking novelty record. In 1971, one of Britain's most famous comedians made a great song about a milkman called Ernie.
They called him Ernie. And he drove the fastest milk cart in the West.
Benny Hill was a big hit at home and also in America, where some of them found him just a little too rude. But if you want a cracking Christmas, how about £10,000? For your chance to win 10 grand, answer this question. What was the name of the band that performed with Cliff Richard? Was it A, The Darkness, B, The Shadows, or C, The Bunnymen?
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
Ernie's one of those Christmas classics that sits alongside Rolf Harris.
Two little boys had
two
little toys.
The great Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder, can you fix it, Bob? And the wonderful E17 and Girls Aloud in my top Christmas novelty record Hall of Fame. Take me home, Ernie. Goodbye, good luck, get dialing.
Ernie, and he drove the fastest milk cart in the West.
You've got 37 minutes, by the way, before the lines close. Just to have a look at the front page of The Sun this morning. That's little babies, Holly and Joseph. The headline says it all really. Find our mum. They're newborn twins who were abandoned in a cardboard box at Birmingham's Heartlands Hospital earlier this week. Well, the search for their mother continues this morning, and Rachel Harrison is at the hospital for us. Any update, Rachel?
Yes, good morning, Fiona. Well, there's some positive news this morning because Holly, which is the smaller of the two twins, she weighs just 4 pounds 5 ounces, has actually taken milk for the first time. Up until now, she's been fed on a drip. So the staff are feeling very positive about her progress, as well as her brother's Joseph. They had a comfortable night. They're both doing well. They're still in the incubators, but that at the moment is still quite normal. But they get taken out for lots of cuddles and love, care and attention. They are very popular, but the one thing that they are concerned about now is it's been 48 hours, and they are concerned that the mother will perhaps now not actually come forward, and if that is the case, they'll be cared for here until they're well enough to leave, and then they'll be placed possibly with a foster family until they can find a permanent family. But the staff really think that's the worst case scenario, and they are hoping for the family to be reunited.
Is there any news on the mum? Are the police any nearer to finding her?
No, not at all. They still are scouring through the CCTV cameras here at the hospital to see if they've got an image of the mother placing the babies here, but as yet have found nothing. They obviously haven't heard from the mother, but they're also worried on the other front that not only will she be emotionally distressed, but they also think she's actually quite poorly, and they're urging her, if she's watching this morning, to actually go to any A&E in the country. She can go in anonymously to actually receive care and attention. They can't inform the police, so the word is this morning for her really to try and get to a hospital as soon as she possibly can.
All right, Rachel, thanks very much indeed. We're going to talk to Mary Ross-Davey now, who's a consultant midwife. Mary, thanks for joining us this morning. This story, front page news all over the place this morning, and a lot of people will look at the pictures of those beautiful little babies and wonder how a mum could abandon her children like that.
Yes, obviously it's a situation where the woman must have been extremely distressed and very confused about what to do for the best. I think often in situations like this, the woman has kept her pregnancy a secret. She's kept it from family and friends and professionals. And so she's been through an experience which is very distressing to go through on your own, to give birth to twins without anyone there with you or with midwives to support you.
What kind of a woman would do this? Would it be a teenager who, as you said, has kept her pregnancy a secret and is scared of the repercussions if anyone found out?
I think that's the first thought that we have in a situation like this, that it is likely to be someone who is young and who is frightened of the repercussions if she tells her parents of her situation. So I think you would imagine that it would often be someone who is a teenager who's worried about their confidentiality being respected when they go and see health professionals. And I think that is an important message for us to learn as health professionals, that we need to respect confidentiality.
She obviously cares about these babies, though, because she placed them right outside the hospital maternity unit.
Absolutely. I think that was a sign that she really wanted the best for these babies by putting them somewhere where she felt that they would be found and that they would be safe.
All right, Mary, we have to leave it there. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. Thank you. I know you had trouble getting there too. Let's hope your journey back's a bit better.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well then, we've got spiders to follow that, hunting the tarantula on the loose and frightening a family out of their home. Would you believe it?
First of all, though, this man won't frighten anyone, not unless he's making roast potatoes. Jean-Christophe Novelli with some nibbles for your Christmas party.
Canapés on Christmas Eve are the best way of starting the festivities. My Parmesan nibble can make fantastic canapé. The only thing you have to do, just sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese on a baking tray, then put it in a hot oven, simply, until they melt. When they're ready, and while they're still warm, just mold them into shapes. Those Parmesan nibbles are fantastic with smoked salmon, cream, mozzarella, and sun-dried tomato, or why not just Parmesan? Absolutely a delight. Tiger prawns also make a delicious festive bite. What I've done here is to squeeze a prawn in some of the squid, skewer it with a lemongrass, then fry it in a pan for 1.5 minutes with some lemon balm. And finally, the most easy canapé ever. Some lovely juicy mozzarella infused with some balsamic, served with some sun-dried tomato on a stick of lemongrass. Why not?
This Christmas, when it has to be ready in a minute, Spa, sponsors of Christophe at Christmas. Gmtv weather, sponsored by Tops Tiles, brightening homes, whatever the weather.
Hello again. Some damp weather for England and Wales this morning. Brighter conditions for Scotland and Northern Ireland. And through the day, this damp weather here will gradually fizzle out. That means brighter afternoon to come. This afternoon then we'll see more cloud moving in across Ireland, western Scotland, central and eastern Scotland getting away with some brighter weather, as well as the bulk of England and Wales. And temperatures, well, not too bad, around 7 to 9 Celsius. Tonight a frost in the south, cloud in the north, the cloud bringing rain and some strong winds to Scotland, northern England, North Wales. Through tomorrow, brighter weather following from behind and hanging on to some brighter weather down in the southeast. And then for the all-important weekend, well, it's cloudy in the north, bright wet in the south, a lot of cloud generally, chilly in the south, milder in the north. Now it's back to Fiona.
Thank you very much. Claire, do you like spiders?
No, no.
You really don't?
But I would never kill one.
No, you see, that's nice.
Because they eat all the other bugs.
How do you deal with them then?
I asked someone else to gather them up and put them in the garden.
Yeah. And you know now you can get these little things we were talking about. You can get these little sort of vacuum cleaner type things, and it sucks them up. You put the lid on and then take them out and release them in the garden.
Yeah.
Humane. So, you wouldn't like to have a tarantula scuttling around your home, though, would you? Well, that's exactly what's lurking under the floorboards of a house in West Wales. Jackie Cabler, with an oversized net, joins us now from Llanelli. Is there really one in that house, or is this a figment of someone's imagination, Jackie?
No. It's been seen 3 times. It's been described as like a ball of wool scuttling across the floor. And if you think this is oversized, this net, this spider is about the size of a CD, so I think it would fit rather nicely in there. And we've been on spider hunt all morning. Nobody knows where it's come from. Possibly it escaped from somebody who keeps them. It was seen in this bedroom, so there's a trap on the floor. That's a poor locust on that, waiting to be eaten by the monster. The cupboards have all been taped up, so that if it's in there, it'll be trapped. And if we go out here, we can see all over the house they've got these traps. There's another locust trap down there, those poor locusts. The family have been so frightened by this that they are struggling to sleep in the house. And in fact, not all of them are still in the house, because if you follow me down here and take a look at these boots, this is all you're going to see of Jan, the mum of the house, because she has moved out until this thing's caught. Now Wayne, this is Wayne with his tennis racket. That was his bedroom up there. Wayne is now sleeping on the sofa with this racket ready to bash it. And over here is the man that's been called in to try and catch it. This is Geraint. Now Wayne, first of all, you were in bed. Tell me what happened.
Well, I was basically watching TV. It was pitch black. I saw something jump across my face, so I ran over and turned the lights on. Didn't have a clue what it was. To my amazement...
Oh, sorry, it's okay, it's okay.
To my amazement, there's a massive tarantula on the floor of my bedroom. I've never had such a fright in all my life.
So you're sleeping down here, ready to bash it. Geraint is trying to catch it. Now, we've got an example of what, because we don't know what it is, but you think it might be something like this.
I think it's a bird-eating spider. This is actual skin of a bird-eater.
It's actually quite sweet and soft.
Yeah.
And how you've got your locust, so we've got the tub of locust here.
Yeah, we've got the locust. We're hoping to catch it alive, but because of Jan has got a bad heart.
Yeah, Jan the mum, that's why she's moved out.
So we've obviously got to get rid of it pretty quickly now. So if we can't catch it with live bait, we're going to have to fumigate the house, unfortunately, which I don't want to really do, but it looks like we're going to have to do it.
Now, even if it did bite poor Wade or somebody, it's not going to kill them, but it could cause a horrible allergic reaction.
Yeah, the hairs on the tarantula can give you a horrible reaction. I actually got bit by one. It was just like a bee sting, basically. Yeah. But unfortunately, I came out in a rush and it was really bad after it.
So we don't want anybody to be bitten.
We don't want anybody to be bitten if we can help it.
Good luck with it. Wayne, good luck. I hope you don't have to sleep on the sofa for too long.
What's on your shoulder, Jack?
Oh, stop it. Right, I'm going. See you later.
Does make you feel like that, doesn't it?
Thank you very much, Jackie. Crikey, the size of a CD.
Yeah, and where's it come from, I wonder?
Who knows? Hopefully they'll find it.
Some strange person who keeps chameleons, pythons and tarantulas. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow.
Cheers, Lorraine.
Bye.
Oh, Mum!
LK Today, sponsored by Dove Bath.
Hello there, good morning to you. We've got a packed show for you this morning. Strictly Come Dancing's Crave Ravel Horwood is with us, a bit scared. Mark Hayes is here with some fantastic party outfits. We'll have the best of the weekend's movie releases, including the one we've all been waiting for, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Narnia, it's fantastic. And has Santa brought everything that Tina needs to celebrate Christmas? Let's find out. Miss Tina, how's it going?
Don't go away. I'm getting ready for the party. I need another couple of minutes. Come back later. It takes a very long time to get ready at my age.
Okay. We'll see you soon. soon. We'll see you soon. It looks like it's all arrived, which is good. First though, let's meet Catherine Dowling. Now, back in 2002, she suffered severe burns after a blaze at a friend's home that left her disfigured and unable to smile. That's all changed now, as you can see, and she's here to tell us why, along with Dr. Hilary Jones. Great to see you, and you look fantastic. You really do. How are you feeling?
Feel good.
Yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are. This horrible accident, it was absolutely dreadful, wasn't it? Because you were very, very severely burned.
Between 75 and 85%.
It was terrible. What had happened?
I was staying over at a friend's house and we'd fallen asleep with candles.
Oh gosh, so easily done, especially this time of year as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
When so many candles are burning. So you were burned very badly, very, very badly. I mean, we can see there, you know, your face. That was actually after treatment, wasn't it? That's after you had skin grafts. And you felt, I would imagine, quite self-conscious.
Yes, definitely.
Pretty self-conscious. And then you got offered this, well, this is what's strange, Hilary, because it's a beauty treatment, isn't it? Essentially.
Essentially, it's been used as a beauty treatment. We're talking about isologen treatment, whereby the person's own skin cells are taken and the cells are expanded and then put back into the patient. As you rightly say, formerly it's been used to fill wrinkles and creases as a cosmetic treatment.
We've talked about it as a cosmetic treatment.
That's right. But here we're using it in much more major, much more serious burns conditions where the skin thickness is much thinner to actually cover in part of that disfigurement, those blemishes, those wrinkles, those areas where there's no elastic tissue, because the cells will actually regenerate collagen, help the repair process of the body itself.
So how long have you had this treatment then?
I think I first had the treatment in about May 2004.
Right, okay, so it's been a little while. Did you see a difference right away?
Yeah, I felt the difference even before I saw it because the skin was very tight with the scarring. And I could feel that, as you said, the elasticity of the skin start to come back, I'd say, within 2 weeks.
That's astonishing. So how did they make the connection? Was it used to treat burns first and then a cosmetic thing, or was it the other way around?
It was used as a cosmetic thing first, I believe. And then I mean, when you look at the treatment of serious burns, you're never going to get a fantastic result because you've got full thickness burn, you've got deep scar tissue, and scar tissue contracts. It has no elasticity, which is why it's so disfiguring. And if you can replace some of that collagen, that's the sort of building blocks of skin tissue, the structure of it, and elastic tissue, which fibroblasts taken from the patient just behind the ear there, that regrows and regenerates that tissue, increases the mobility of the skin, fills it up, plumps it out, and continues to carry on working for up to several years after the treatment is used.
That's extraordinary. How did you find out about it?
Well, my cousin had read an article in the newspaper and brought it round, and my sister, who's a doctor, had been keeping her eye on various treatments and said, this sounds really interesting. So my cousin Anne came round and we researched it on the internet and took it from there.
Fantastic. Before you got this treatment, what had they offered you?
In terms of aesthetic procedures, not a lot really.
Nothing. So it was basically, we've done what we can, you'll have to learn to live with it or use heavy makeup or whatever.
I mean, in fairness, there wasn't really anything that could be offered. I mean, there's a lot, obviously they saved my life, a lot of physiotherapy to make sure you got as much movement back as possible. But in terms of how you looked,
there wasn't much.
No.
You've still got a plaster on your nose and just here above your mouth. Will that eventually go?
Hopefully.
That'll go. So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
You are a pioneer because you're the first woman to have this done. Hopefully this is going to give other people who are in the same situation as you a great deal of hope. How has it changed your life, do you think?
It allows you to be who you were before the fire again. There's a lot of talk of change and your life will change and you'll have to learn how to live a different life or be a different person. Well, that's easier said than done. And you don't particularly want to change who you are necessarily. And especially your face and expression. As you were saying, that's part of your character.
So do you feel now you've got yourself back?
Yes.
When you look in the mirror, it's you again.
Well, getting there anyway.
Yeah, you are. No, you can see that. I mean, and there's still a way to go.
Yeah.
We can see, obviously, your hands were very badly damaged, so you're still having to wear those protective bandages, I guess. They're like gloves. And you can hear in your voice, did you get some damage in your voice?
Yeah, smoke inhalation injuries.
You can hear that too. But every day getting better.
Yes. Yes.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is fantastic. I mean, in the past, the only treatment really was, you know, a little bit of counselling to help you get through the, you know, people staring at you.
Sure, or camouflage makeup, but that doesn't always work.
And when you've got a facial disfigurement, some people find it really, really tough.
Yeah.
But you're obviously extremely confident, and the fact that you're here, it means so much to other people. You're giving them a lot of hope.
It's good.
You're telling them about a new treatment, which is being pioneered. It's not available widely yet, but you're just here and talking about it. It's great.
Hope it's impossible to get better as well.
Definitely,
no
hope. For
it.
Absolutely. Now, would we be thinking that this might be available in the NHS? If it is, not yet.
Not yet.
So we're talking quite expensive treatment.
Well, we're looking at, yes, it's expensive, but then if you look at the cost of the alternative forms of reconstruction, that's extremely expensive as well. It has to be done again and again and again.
Yeah.
Now, this treatment is expensive, but if we look at it, if we look at the work that's going to be done in the next few months and years, it may well be more cost-effective than the alternatives. So
no, that's true.
This is new work. We need to look at it. We need to look at the long-term results of the cost, and hopefully it'll be available on the NHS in the future for many more people.
I'd like to think so, that's for sure. And as Catherine, as you said, it gets better every day.
Yes.
So eventually the little plasters will go, we hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's really good, and you can just go out and lead a normal life.
Yep, and not have to think about a fire every day.
No, I know, exactly, because I suppose that's true. I never thought about that. Every time you look in the mirror, you would be reminded of what happens.
Absolutely.
Of course you are. Well, you're doing great. It's really good. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for
and
having
have a
me.
great Christmas.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hilary.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Right, still to come, all the weekend movie news and Strictly Come Dancing's Craig Revell Horwood. First, though, competition time. Your chance to win, again, £10,000 by the end of the programme today. Here's Tony with all the details.
Good morning and welcome to my guide of Christmas number ones. Well, exactly 5 years ago, a novelty record came out aiming to top the charts. But what was it, and why am I in a builder's merchants? And that's right, Bob the Builder was number one on the 2000th birthday of baby Jesus. Well, somebody must have bought it, mustn't they? Come on, own up, who bought it? Well, they've got a lot of taste, haven't they? And you can buy all the novelty records you like with today's prize, £10,000. For your chance to get your hands on the cash, answer this question. What was the name of the band that performed with Cliff Richard? Was it A, The Darkness, B, The Shadows, or C, The Bunnymen?
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
Now, the week before Christmas, Bob beat Eminem to the top spot. And then knocked Westlife down to number 2 to get his Christmas number 1. But he wasn't just a one-hit wonder. He released Mambo number 5 in the summer, and guess what? He got to number 1. Good luck!
Thank you, Tony. Don't forget, lines close at 9 o'clock, and we'll reveal the winner by the end of the show today. Now, all this week we've been finding out if it really is possible to do every single bit of your Christmas shopping without even leaving your house. To find out, we're challenging our very own soap queen, Tina Baker, to do just that. So, how did she get on? Let's find out. Tina, we saw you at the beginning of the week in an empty flat. It's looking pretty good now.
It is final touches. I would not have believed you could have done all of this, but it has been done on the net. Come on in. I have got all the shopping. I've got 80 bazillion calories in there, from sausage rolls to mince pies to your Christmas nuts. All the shopping, it was dead easy. It came within an hour slot when they said it had arrived. So all my Christmas food done, sorted. Plus, all my Christmas deckies, my lovely tree, everything from your crackers to your baubles, all arrived in plenty of time to put it all up. Plus, my table, I am now the hostess with the mostess. I feel like I'm auditioning for the Generation Game or something. I've got everything sorted for the party. From your drink, from your champagne, to the candles, the decorations, everything you could possibly want. Plus, my last gift arrived. For my brother and his wife, I got a case of wine from Vintry, 85 quid. A whole case will probably last them 25 minutes in their house. Plus, party outfit. This is £109 from La Redoute. Now, the good thing about shopping from catalogues and online is you don't have that mortification of the bum in the mirror shot, Lorraine. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes, I know.
This, Yeah, I love this frock. The only thing is, because I didn't try it on before, it's just slightly tight round my arms. So perhaps I would have kept this for myself anyway. Or if you wanted to send it back, what you've got to do is each individual website check their returns policy. And my big fear, of course, was the deliveries. Would I be in? Have you got a neighbour? Have you got a work address you could send it to? Because if you don't pay the extra money for next day delivery, it could come any time. You can bet your bottom dollar when you popped out to get the kids from school, that's when your Christmas gifts are arriving. So the other good thing we discovered is you can send some things direct, like books and CDs. You know, they just arrive at your friend's house. Obviously not appropriate if you're having a party or anything. It's always nicer to give them. But I've quite enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, I bet you have. And do you know what? It's come when it said it would come. You know, the stuff has been what you expected it to be. OK, I can understand what you're saying about clothes, because that is a difficult one, about not being able to try them on.
Yeah.
But as long as you know, if you're willing to put up with the faff of sending them back, so you'd recommend it then? Has it been better than going shopping?
It surprised me. I think you've got to be patient. You've got to allow some time to do it, you know, especially if you're inexperienced like me. Allow several hours, but browsing on the net is a lot easier on the feet than browsing in the shops at the minute. And also, just get clear on the deliveries, how long it's going to take them to come, because at the moment, nobody's really guaranteeing things will get there before Christmas. They might do, but you don't want your kids in tears, do you, on Christmas Day, because their much-loved gift has not arrived. Also be aware of things like getting the batteries in, which is, you know, the classic that you get the gift and then the batteries aren't there. But, you know, everything from food, drink, decorations, clothes, it can be done. And I think more women this year than ever before are going to be trying it. So all I need now is some party guests, because otherwise I'm going to have an awful lot of wine to get through.
Oh, you poor wee thing. No, well done, and have a lovely early Christmas, because Tina is going off to get married. That's why she's doing Christmas earlier than most people. You enjoy that champagne, girl. And well done, thank you very much indeed. And to find out where Tina did all that shopping and for the essential guide to the internet, obviously it's all on the website gm.tv. I must admit, I've done it and it has been fantastic. Still to come, Strictly Come Dancing's Craig Revell Horwood is with us. Mark Hayes is here with some beautiful party outfits. And we have the best of this weekend's movie releases, including the one we've all been waiting for, Narnia.
It has whole rooms simply stuffed with Turkish delight.
Couldn't I have some more now?
No!
Oh, you still scrubbing away in there, love?
Hi there, welcome back. Lots to pack in between now and the end of the show. Strictly Come Dancing's Craig Revell Horwood is here, and we'll have the best of the weekend's movie releases, including the one you've all been waiting for, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. It does look good, doesn't it? Now, with party season fast approaching, perfect excuse for some full-on glamour. And Mark Hayes is here with some fantastic party outfits. You've had a good time out there.
I have. I've just been surrounded this week by glitz and glamour and
good,
sequins and all the rest. Yeah. Happy as Larry, I tell you. So, no, I mean, that's the thing. Everybody's getting ready for the parties at the moment. I've still not got my outfit, so maybe I should stop. I know, that's what I was saying.
This is for Craig. You see, it's got sequins on it.
Sequins and sparkles.
Yeah, it's
oh, aye. It's all very nice. So I've been trawling the high street, as per usual, to find all the best buys. So I thought I would start off with a bit of a kind of under £100 outfit.
Okay.
This is what I thought I would do. So because you know, you don't want to be spending all your money, do you, on your own outfit when you've got all the presents to buy as well. So should we start off with outfit number 1, and we've got Mel. Now, mixed comments about this. Some people have said she looks like a Christmas cracker. I say it's Christmas and therefore you're allowed to.
Absolutely.
That's what I
see with the bag.
With the bag.
That's very cute.
Did I go a bit OTT?
No, yes, you did, but that's allowed. It's Christmas time. I love that shrug because you know what? It's kind of solid looking. It's not soft and flimsy. It's actually got kind of body in it.
It looks a very expensive shirt.
It
I really
does,
do. And
yeah.
I know people that have bought this and they wear it with jeans, they wear it with all sorts of things. It's just a great piece
Where's
to have.
that from, then?
It's from Zara, £19.
Love Zara.
I think
Cool,
19 quid for that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Now the dress is, you know, the old Roland Murray Galaxy looky-likey.
Yes.
Well, they've done it in turquoise, this kind of teal turquoise colour from Topshop. £40 for that, which I think is a great price as well. Now, I went and got this lame fabric for £3.
Yep.
And just tied it right
And
round.
why not?
Well, this is the thing. You can buy all these expensive kind of big waist belts because it's all about the waist this season. So you can buy all them, and it's great, but you know, you can go with the big bow at the back or not.
I like the big bow at the back.
Right,
I also like the front of it. I think the front of it's really pretty as well.
I think the front
really
looks
good.
great. I think that looks really, really good.
Really lovely.
The bag, Chanel Looky Likey, I was thinking, at £12 for that from Dorothy Perkins.
Not bad at
with
all.
the kind of padded gold leather. And then we've got the shoes from Dulcis. These are £14.99.
They're beautiful.
But they're a really now shoe.
Yeah, I like them.
And Eve, I was chatting to the manager. He couldn't understand why it'd been reduced either. It's been reduced from £24.99 to £14.99. So a bit of a bargain.
Good bargain hunting there. So did that come under
£190 for the whole lot.
Do you know what? That's really good.
I think it looks a very expensive outfit.
That's really good. And you could use that a lot, like that shrug, as you say, you could use that with lots of different outfits. Gorgeous.
Completely.
Thank you.
Thank you very
really
much,
nice.
darling. And next up we've got Sasha. Another big look that we went and saw on the catwalk with kind of Oriental influences.
Right.
So we went and saw an awful lot of designers doing
that's
things like that.
pretty,
And we found
pretty.
this beautiful dress. I love this dress. This is from Marks and Spencer's, believe it or not.
That's good.
It's from the Autograph range, £99 for that. I think it's great. Because of this kind of, it's quite a structured fabric, so it's going to hold you in.
Quite Chinese even.
It is, yeah. It's got this real kind of Chinese influence. The little bag to match from Debenhams, £15 for that.
Lovely.
And then we've got shoes as well from Dulcis. I went and found with the red crystals on.
Oh, pretty.
£29.99 for them. Which
So did you have a budget for this one, or was this just you playing yourself?
No, it's just me having a bit of a giggle.
No, it's good, because it's good prices.
It is, isn't it?
That is lovely.
I found as well in H&M, they've got this really hot jewellery designer at the moment to design some jewellery for them. And you see that little piece on the front of the dress here?
Oh, yeah.
That was £15, this kind of like brooch thing, and then
You
beautiful
did
earrings
that,
as well.
I see.
And you know me, I'm always faffing around with
That's
something.
lovely. I really like that. Really Christmassy.
It's a real Christmassy look. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Absolutely
Cheers,
beautiful.
And you know, I mean, for as much as I say Oriental look was a really big thing on the catwalk this season, it's in for it, you know, it's never going to go out. It's something you'll have to
this is very, very, very catwalky.
It is. It is. Now, this is, we've got I went for this kind of combination of brown and navy here, which I think is quite an unusual combination. People don't usually wear it, but I think it works great. The way it's worked is through this little shrug from Topshop, £35 for that one.
Lovely, isn't it?
And that combines the two colours. It's got brown beads on there. We've got a little top from Mango at £30 there. And then the belt, which just ties in the navy again.
And you've done that belt the other way round?
Yes. Yeah. I preferred the back. And I think you can get away with doing things like that.
Yeah, why not?
£10 from New Look for that, and then the little shorts. Now, the shorts are an interesting one. We see a lot of girls are wearing them, and I'm so pleased because it's such a nice alternative.
Yeah.
I have to admit, you do maybe have to be, I think if you're above a size 14, you do need to be careful.
You do. That's for a young thin thing, I think, that one, but that's okay.
You can get away, you know, if you are, you know, maybe a wee bit large, you don't feel quite as comfortable wearing bare legs, wear it with tights, you know, give that a try. We've also got little shoes from Marks and Spencer's, very similar to the Christian Louboutin ones, at £35.
Very good. I like Marky's shoes, actually.
They've done
because I can go in and just buy a 5.5 and I know they fit me.
And that's it.
Yeah,
they do the half sizes, which is so unusual now to find. So.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you, darling.
Beautiful.
Cheers. Next up, we've got Nesh, our plus-size model, in this beautiful jacket. I adore this jacket.
Oh, that's lovely.
From Topshop, £40 for this one.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
It's real ladylike chic, I think, this. And it's great that girls with calves can like show them off, I think, at the moment. We've got a little top from Debenhams underneath at £60 for that one there. And then the pencil skirt, the must-have pencil skirt of the season, £35 from Warehouse.
I really like what you've done there with the two different colours, because sometimes you'd be tempted to try and get the same colour all the way down, but you don't need to.
I was experimenting, and I kind of thought, do you know what, it does work. I think you can get away with it.
And with the silver accessories, it's great.
Yeah, we've got this, the little bag from Q, £37 for that one there. And then the shoes are beautiful. These are from Ravel, reduced as well from £80 to £60 for these ones.
They're lovely. They don't look very comfortable, though.
I don't know.
Are they comfortable, Nesh? Not bad, says Nesh. That means they're terrible.
No,
she's so lovely.
She knows she'll get a crack on the back of it.
That's a really good outfit. I really like
it's
that.
It's cute, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lots of pearls as well from H&M, £9.99 for those ones there.
Happy days.
Brilliant.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Now, another big look that we went and saw on the catwalks was Victoriana. So I thought it'd be a great thing to do for a kind of Christmas look, which is beautiful. So we've got a top underneath, first of all, the lace top. I always think with these corsets, as I said before, people have still got these corsets classics from a couple of seasons ago. Just
bring
bring
them
them out
back.
again,
Yeah,
but
you're
wear
right.
them with a top underneath.
Right, just makes it look a bit different.
So we've got a little top underneath, $39.50 from Oasis, and then the corset, which is from Warehouse, £50 for that, which I don't think is a bad price for the embellishment on it. The skirt is quite pricey, but it does have an awful lot of detailing on
Lovely.
it. It's a beautiful, beautiful skirt.
And that'll last a while. That's not going to go away anywhere, is it?
£105 from Mango for that. Little bag from Debenhams comes in at £25, and then beautiful shoes from Marks and Spencer's. You know, as we were saying,
very elegant.
They're really elegant.
There
with
they
this
go.
beautiful bow at the back. It's like the perfect pointy heel, I think.
They are.
$39.50.
Every girl should have them in her wardrobe, just to have. Good price as well.
It's a great price, isn't it? You can't complain about that. So
Thank
it's
you.
a nice look.
Gorgeous. Thank you very much, Mark.
It's my pleasure.
And how is the high street?
It's busy. Still doing that hot cold thing, which I've been very unhappy about. I know, but maybe I should start getting to some of the boys' shops to actually get my own Christmas party outfit. This is the problem.
I know, we maybe should do that. We'll do that next week. Mark, thank you very much indeed.
You're right.
And all the details of all those party dresses can be found, where do you think? On the website, gm.tv. Now, we're going to be talking to Strictly Come Dancing judge Craig Ravel-Horwood in just a minute. First, though, let's have a look at him in full flow. Well, Craig joins me now. What a great show. It's a cracking show.
It's so
it really
much
is.
fun.
It's got everything, you know?
Yeah, and I have to, you know, just thank the celebrities that come on. You know, they are so strong and brave to be able to walk down those stairs and then be able to dance for 1 minute 30.
I could never do it in a million years.
It must be so frightening for them.
And then they've got to impress you guys, and that's quite difficult. Now, it was interesting because all the judges, I think, would have agreed that James was probably the weakest on Saturday.
We all completely agreed with that, and I thought Patsy much in control of his body. But certainly the public love him.
Oh, he's good.
And certainly I think he's, you know, great fun, fantastic. And for a big butch guy to actually come on and be light on his feet like that, I think it's magnificent.
It is, it's very, very good. Now, Miss Zoe, taking it very seriously, apparently taking extra lessons, but it's paid off. She does look incredible.
She is fabulous.
She's good, isn't she?
I absolutely...
Welcome back. Still to come, the best of the weekend's movie releases, including, one we've all been waiting for, Chronicles of Narnia. Doesn't it look good? First, though, time to find out who's won £10,000 in today's competition. Earlier on, we asked you, what's the name of the band that performed with Cliff Richard? The answer, of course, was The Shadows. We knew that. The computer has selected the finalists at random from all the correct entries. The winner is on your screen right now. Congratulations. Well done, and have a great Christmas. Now, Mark Eccleston is here with all the week's movie releases. Oh, it's a big week for the movies. I can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, now this comes from, you know, the books, obviously, and this is the first in a series of 7 by C.S. Lewis. And this created a whole idea as a child of looking into wardrobes, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, now it's all IKEA, so you don't want to sort of knock them over too much.
No, indeed.
But yeah, I think this is perfect, actually. I think this is the most terrific Christmas movie I've ever seen. The story, of course, is 4 kids are evacuees in World War II. They go to this professor's house and they find this big wardrobe, which leads into Narnia. So we're going to see a young girl who I think is superb, and all the actors and actors, the young ones are
good, because that's really important.
Well.
If the little ones weren't believable, it would all fall
here's how it just about kicks off.
Ready or not?
Oh, fantastic. That looks amazing. I'm going to go see that this weekend.
Yeah, so that's Georgie Henley. I wanted to mention her because I think she's particularly special in this, And the 4 kids are chased by the Ice Queen, played by Tilda Swinton, who wants them dead, and Aslan is the good, and they are the evil. So that's where the story goes. But, you know, in terms of scares, I think, although this is a PG, some of this is going to make little kids jump a bit, particularly the wolves. But they've got a comedy element here with 2 talking beavers, played by Dawn French, and someone else. I want you to guess who the voice of the male beaver here is when they're on the run.
Right.
Take them.
Hurry, Mama! They're after us!
Oh, right then. What's she doing? Oh, you'll be thanking me later. It's a long journey and Beaver gets pretty cranky when he's hungry.
Oh, cranky now! Hurry!
Wait! This one! Hurry! Come on, Lucy!
Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? That is fantastic. It sounded a bit like Ray Winston.
It is Ray
Is it Ray Winston?
Yeah, I thought it was Bob Hoskins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but there again, I thought it was Bob Hoskins. You just put a rug on him. You don't need effects. Basically, just get him right running around.
It could be a real-life beaver.
But this is so good, and I think it could run and run and run. They've optioned the whole of the series, so this might be our Christmas movie instead of Harry Potter in the future.
Good stuff. And how, I mean, a lot of people have been comparing it to, like, big epic movies, you know, the whole Tolkien thing, Lord of the Rings. Does it compare to that?
Well, it does, because the special effects company is the same one from New Zealand, Weta, that did the stuff for Lord of the Rings.
Can't
so
wait.
the battle sequences are enormous at the
I'm going to see that on Saturday.
Yeah, big thumbs up for that.
Good. What else you got?
Finding a Space Maybe is something called Scorched. It's Alicia Silverstone and Woody Harrelson. It's a sort of heist comedy caper.
Is that John Cleese strangling a duck? What's going on?
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, it is. But they basically play employees of a bank that get disgruntled and decide to rob the bank on the same day, including John Cleese's duck strangling guy's money box.
Okay.
Never really gets too tense or too funny, but you know, I liked it.
It's
a tight little script. We can see some of their planning going on here.
Okay.
You want an idea that would never work?
There we are.
Okay, yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
It's a neat movie, and yeah, I liked it.
Good.
Not crazy about it, but I liked it. Yeah, good. And finally, something I think is wonderful is March of the Penguins.
Penguins, my favourite things in the whole of the big wide world.
This has been a huge hit in the States. As a documentary, I think it's the second most successful documentary in history.
Really?
The story of the penguins is extraordinary.
They are amazing birdies.
They're amazing birds. They basically spend most of their time at sea, and then they come onto the land and they walk about 70 miles, and then they have sex. And then they lay an egg. Well, the females are not much good at biology. It's
an education, Mark. It's an education.
And then the male looks after the egg while the female goes away, gets some food. This sort of thing goes on, basically. In fact, I've never seen such endurance of the cold to mate.
That's incredible.
Since I was in Newcastle for a night out. It's March of the Geordie. No, I've lived in Newcastle.
You're in trouble.
I love Newcastle.
Big trouble.
But I mean, extraordinary looking thing. And the voiceover. So you didn't know they guessed the voice thing?
Go on then.
All right. Okay, well, let's see if you can work out who the narrator here is.
The birds have been feeding in the ocean water.
That as well.
Yes, I know.
Oh, definitely. And get it on DVD and watch it. Because David Attenborough did quite a similar one, the Blue Planet, the Life in the Freezer, which was very similar to that. Very good.
The thing is, though, you know, it is something you might be able to see on TV. I think the big screen does this kind of landscape justice.
Marvellous.
You know, the colours of the eyes and stuff.
Another very important movie that's coming out.
Yeah, January the 27th. This is a movie they're talking about winning the Oscar before it even was shot. And it's Steven Spielberg doing something called Munich, and it's a very topical, hard subject that if he gets right, I think it might win. It's based in 1972, the Olympics in Munich, where 11 Israeli athletes were taken hostage and killed.
I remember it well.
And, you know, it's looking at how Mossad got back at those guys, basically. Have a look at the trailer.
Wow, that looks astonishing.
Doesn't it look great?
Really, really good. A very important film.
Yeah, and Daniel Craig you see there, and Eric Bana you see. I think Jeffrey Rush is in this as well. So
good cast. Excellent cast.
January the 27th. I can't wait.
Quality stuff. So I'm penguining this weekend.
Penguin weekend.
Doing penguins and lions.
Right.
Narnia. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's great stuff. And if you want a guide to this year's Christmas blockbuster movies, of course you can log on to the website gm.tv. That's it for today and for this week. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for Ben and for Jenny. You have a great weekend. See you Monday. Bye-bye.
Same time tomorrow.
LK Today. Sponsored by Dove Bath.